Caffeine and green. It's your boy Connor. What's good? Good. Caffeine and green.
And we're live.
Yes, sir.
Boom.
Yes, sir.
Is that your homie? Oh, okay. I was like, dude. Timing is perfect.
No, that would have been. It would have been good if that was him. It would have been good if that was him 5 minutes ago.
Oh, well. Guys, welcome to the show. Jeff
Hola.
Lozano.
What's up?
Welcome to Caffeine and Green, sir.
Thank you for having me. My first time here. It's
Yes.
pretty dope.
Thank you.
I like what you've done with the place.
I appreciate it. I do. I worked hard on it. You said, what did you say? It was, I forgot the term you used when we were over by the bar when I was showing you around. You were like, it's a
weed shop.
It sounds like one, but honestly, I didn't know it wasn't a weed shop.
Dude, that's so crazy to me.
It's not. It's green's
How
in
is
the
it
name.
crazy? You know it. You know
Green
that was
is
gonna happen.
money. Come on.
But you got to know that it's like, it's not a bad thing. It's like somebody comes in and they're like, hey, dude, so what's up? Is this like a head shop or whatever? And you're like, no, it's just coffee. Oh, okay. Okay, that's great
I
too.
wish.
Oh,
I
see you
really
later. They're
wish
like, peace
the
out.
conversations were like that, though. Dude, dude, in a perfect world, Jeff, yes, that would be super awesome. But that's not the case. When people walk in, they're like, yo, where's the weed at? I've had people literally, I have a line out the door, and there'll be people like walk in, and they like look around, and they're like, and they just like look super disappointed and be like, are you good? You need any help? And they're like, no, I'm good. And then just like walk out. It's like, oh.
It is a little, I would say, not misleading, but like I could see why people think it's a pot shop, but
It says,
now you either have to change the name or you have to bring weed into the equation.
I mean,
Wow. I never even thought about that, dude. This was always talking about coffee. Probably make way more money with weed.
But it makes sense, dude. Like
I should
honestly,
start my own
green
weed
coffee's
brand.
green, right?
Yes,
You
it
start
is.
off with green coffee, right?
Yes.
And then, so I mean, you like money, or everybody likes money, blah blah blah. That's great. There's green shit around. I think it makes sense, except
These
you're,
chairs?
you're gonna get some people that are gonna come in and they're gonna be like, "So,
Oh, dude, yeah.
what's up with the name?"
I've had people like yell at me from the doorway. Like they won't even walk in. They're like,
fuck
where's the
you."
weed at? They're like,
They didn't even walk in to check it out.
no, they stop. Dude, I'm telling you, they literally stop at the door frame and they just look in. And they poke their head in. They're like, is this a weed shop? No,
Fair
no,
question.
it's not. And like, I'm like, no, it's a coffee shop. Why are you lying to me? I had a guy, why are you lying to me? Where's the weed at? And I was like, bro, it's a coffee shop. And I was like, yeah, it says it right above the sign. It says caffeine and green. It says coffee roaster. And he was like, don't sass me. And I was like,
Damn, you're out here sassing people?
Sassing
bro?
people?
Dude,
Don't sass me. Was he like
he said
75?
don't sass me.
Guy
Dude,
from-
yeah,
from
he was.
Arkansas?
He was like an older,
Don't sass me.
Sass
an
me,
older,
boy.
nicely dressed gentleman, and he was not convinced. He looked pretty like pimpish,
Oh, he was a pimp.
Oh yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
pimpish.
Don't you
Yeah, yeah.
dare
He
sass
was
anybody
pimp.
like
Dude,
that.
don't you
Don't-
sass
no, don't
me.
sass that
like that
motherfucker,
baby
man.
powder.
He would have
Just
slapped the shit out of you. For
Oh,
sure.
dude,
You think he would've said-
You were this close.
Dude.
you were
You would've
this
slapped him.
close.
If I would have walked towards him, it would have happened.
Oh, dude, you were sassing him up and down,
Dude,
left
I
and
Can't
right.
be
sassed
sassy,
an
bro.
old gentleman.
You're like the most sassy dude I know, and you're always telling me that I'm sassy, bro.
Bro.
What's up with that?
Is that a word that you guys throw around pretty regularly?
I do.
Because
I do.
of
I say
him.
It
Yeah.
pretty, I
Because of
say
him.
it a lot. I say it a lot.
Yeah, well, it's good to have a little sass, you know, a
Well,
little
dude-
sass, moxie, whatever you want to call it.
Moxie.
You ever heard
Moxie,
that
is
one?
that
one?
Is that
No,
what that
dude,
means?
you know what moxie is. You remember like any of those movies where like the sergeant would be telling like the renegade cops like, you broke all the rules in the book, you caused $2,000 in damage, and you let the guy go. But God damn it, you have moxie, and I like you. Like you've never seen those weird fucking movies.
No, but like Die Hard, like the
Yeah,
first
it's kind of like
original Die Hard.
it's like that
or
corny shit where they're like,
Bad Boys.
God, you know, I hate, but I hate to say it, but God damn, you're good.
You got
like,
the job
dude.
done.
Or no, like in Bad Boys when the Will Smith and Martin Lawrence's boss. He's always talking shit. There's that one scene where he's like making the baskets and he keeps shooting. It's like airballing super hard, and he's like, I was making them in every time before you got here. And he's just like, what? Yo, why you caused this many $1 million in damage and this? Like, yo, stop it.
Well, that's
But yes,
just-
I've never heard
anyways.
Moxie.
Moxie.
Me
dude.
neither.
Yeah,
I've heard
moxie.
the word, but I don't think I've
Moxie
even know
is
what it
like
means.
it's like you got some grit. You got some cojones. You got your. It's kind of like a term of endearment. almost. It's kind of
Oh.
like, all right, you got moxie.
Yeah.
Like you got spunk.
You got that something.
You got spunk. Or do I have to explain spunk too?
Yes.
I mean, he
go
might
ahead.
need- he
No,
might
go
need to
ahead. Go
figure it
ahead.
out.
Go ahead.
Spunk is the same thing as moxie.
Okay.
What about, dude? I found out the actual definition of like scrumptious.
What is it? Delicious? It's not
scrum-
delicious.
delicious in food, yes. But then when you're talking about a human,
big booty
it's
or
like
something?
very attractive.
human?
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Or like a person.
Oh, because
And
if we were still on the food kind of,
Yeah, no, that's
definition,
what I- that's
like
what I said,
humans,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
jeez,
Scrumptious.
scrumptious.
Like Jeff, when he walked in today, I was like, damn.
did I give off
That fool
scrum
looks
scrumptious?
scrumptious.
Dude,
Scrumptious.
scrumptiosis. Is that? No,
I mean, that's
no,
a word,
it's not.
sure.
Are you sure this is not a weed shop? This was totally a high conversation.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
But thanks for having me. I like your
Yes,
spot.
I'm super glad you're here, Jeff. And Danny introduced us a couple weeks ago. It was super fun. And
The homie.
you also have a podcast, right?
I do.
You do have a podcast. And what do you do?
On the podcast or like in life?
Actually, in the podcast, but in life.
So I have a podcast called Dedicated to the Craft. It happens to be the slogan for the company I work for, Ballast Point Brewing Company. We're drinking some Ballast Point Brewing Company beer, and I have to say I do. And it's a good one too. I brought you guys some Grunion Pale Ale.
You know what?
Award winning.
I'm gonna go
It's a
ahead.
gold medal winning beer.
I love it.
Go ahead and crap another one open in here real quick.
Do it in the mic.
pass
Do it
me
in the
one.
mic.
It
Pass
I
was
me
judge
so
people.
good that I couldn't.
Dude, we definitely do it
So
in the mic all the
fast.
time. So if you're judging because you hate it, I apologize.
No, I love it. That's the best part of it.
If you hate it, do you need one?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I'm almost still full with this one, but I know I'm gonna.
Ballast Point.
Get the fuck out of here. Give me the thing.
There you go.
Real quick, while you crack those open, this beer specifically is it's an internal fan favorite. So a lot of the people around the brewery just love this beer. It was in production for a long time. Then it kind of took a little break, and now we're back. So we brought it back into our production schedule, and you can find it at our tasting rooms and stuff like that. But it has a kind of analogous origin story that the company itself has. So I don't know if anybody listening or if you guys know too much about Ballast Point, but here in San Diego, Ballast Point Brewing Company started as a homebrew equipment store.
Dude, over in Linda Vista.
Yeah, in Linda
I didn't
Vista,
know
and it's
that.
still
I didn't
there.
know that.
Still
Yeah,
there.
G.
Still there?
It's
Still
Homebrew
called Ballast
Mart.
Point?
It's called Homebrew Mart, and before Ballast Point actually became a brewing company, it was just a homebrew supply shop, and so what you can decipher is that it has homebrew beginnings, right? And this beer in particular is no different. We had an internal homebrew competition at Ballast Point, and we judged it like legitimately. We basically recreated a legit beer judging competition, and this beer won. The guy, his name is Doug, really talented brewer. He won, and as a part of winning, we scaled his beer up and re-entered it in the JBF, the Great American Beer Festival, and it won gold, which is kind of like a
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
Homies,
That's
that's
pretty
tight.
dope. It's pretty dope.
Is that first place?
Yeah, gold medal.
I figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What would be better than gold though?
I don't know. Maybe
Platinum?
like platinum or
Diamond.
diamond or something.
yeah,
Diamond.
diamond 100.
Yeah.
You get that gold, but then you deck it out in diamonds.
That's
Stop
true.
it.
People do
You know what I'm
deck
saying?
gold out in diamonds and shit.
Well,
But anyways,
yeah, but so that's really cool, man. And dude, thank you for the beer.
yeah,
They're super
absolutely,
good.
absolutely. So I worked there, and during the pandemic, we were trying to figure out how the hell we're going to, amplify our message, market, all that stuff like that. Every company had this problem, right? Like, how are you going to let the world, or remind the world rather, that you are around, that you exist, especially in an industry like ours where it's very highly dependent on foot traffic through our tasting rooms and our brewery. And when you shut those things down, it's kind of hard to continue to tell your story. And so they came up to me and they said, hey, we're thinking about maybe having or starting a podcast. We want you to be the host of it. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. The only kind of like prerequisite that I had was like, it's funny because it sounds odd, but I was like, as long as it's just not just about beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're
fuck
like, well, it's a brewery podcast. And I was like, yeah, but brewery podcasts are pretty boring. And they're they're lame.
And they're
And
entertaining.
well, it depends on what you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
from
yeah.
it. No offense to anybody out there that has a brewery podcast or a beer focused podcast. There's plenty of information that I get out of them, and it kind of just depends on what you're trying to do with it. But from an entertainment standpoint, dude, I love beer. It pays my bills. I can't even listen to a beer podcast for
It's
too
hard.
long, and before it starts sounding redundant, and you're talking about the same things, and then if you really keep going down that rabbit hole, you're going to lose most people in translation. So I was like, as long as it's not just about beer, then sure. And so we started it, and I did bring in a lot of brewers and brewery folk, but we got more into the storytelling component, like
Sick.
their origin stories, who they are, why they're doing what they're doing. And honestly, it was a great show. I had a lot of fun. We're taking a little break right now, but you can still find it. It's out there on YouTube and Apple and Spotify and all that stuff.
Sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How long has your podcast been running for?
Well, it started with when the pandemic started.
Oh,
So
a couple years.
yeah. And so, as we kind of got back into the swing of things, and we started shifting things back into action, we're just kind of like figuring it out again, And so the podcast is taking a short break. So if you look for it, and you'll notice it, the last episode we had, I think, was Kyle Carpenter. He was my last guest, and he was the youngest living recipient of the Medal of Honor, which is a dope conversation with a crazy, super rad hero. But you'll notice that the upload date is kind of
Yeah, it's
back
been
back there. So we'll see what becomes of it. But I'll jump on podcasts in the meantime.
Dude, yeah. I mean,
Fuck yeah.
I'm super glad you came on today. I mean, it's always fun to have other people who have especially been on podcasts and had to kind of do that back and forth. It's a dance, right? When you're actually like talking to people. I think setting the wine right here was a bad idea.
Oh yeah, because you're getting matted out. It happens, dude.
But I love having people who already know how to be comfortable in front of mics. I mean, and this is not to like shame anybody, but it's like,
You know who you are.
when people come and they're nervous, when they're nervous in front of the camera, and you're already on it, you're ready to go, like boom, 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 boom. It's sick, and it just makes the conversation a lot more. I don't want to say fun to have, because it's a fun conversation with everybody, but it's like there's more of this ebb and flow, because it's not so much of an interview. It's more just like the natural flow of things, and it's super fun.
Well, I'll serve it right back, because honestly, and you guys know this as being guests on podcasts and obviously having a podcast, it's about creating that environment, though. Mm-hmm. You have to just know how to create that environment.
Always.
And if you have a really good guest, everybody has some cool shit to say, especially for the most part, if they're asked to be on a podcast, it's because they have some sort of story to tell or something to contribute. It's about putting them into a very comfortable space to allow them to tell that story, right? To get out of them what you want to get out of them. And a lot of time, that scaffolding, that environment is built by the interviewer, not the guest.
Oh yeah,
you know what I
100%,
mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, dude, I'm sure you've had a guest where you're trying to ask them questions and it's like one word answers.
are you kidding? That's my life.
Dude, one word answers, and it's like tell me. Okay, one of my homies, Ryan Bowers, I would RIP. When I was having him on, I would ask him, be like, tell me about your favorite show with your favorite artist. And he'd be like, Crazy Bone. And then it would just be paused. I'm just like, oh, okay. So tell me about it. I was
Technically,
Care
I
to
guess you got what
elaborate?
you.
Yeah.
He gave you what you needed.
I wanted to like, you know what it is. And after, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes of talking, he started opening up, and then the conversation started going, and it was like,
Yeah.
just being persistent and like really being creative in the way you're asking the question to the interviewee, if you will, or the guest. But it's dude, I love it. I think it's really cool to be able to have that skill. I mean, because dude, you can carry a conversation. You come in, you're loud, you're boom, what's popping,
I like people, man.
Dude,
I like
it's
people.
dope.
You like people. If you like people, you'll be good at it. In the sense, it just kind of depends on what your flavor is, right? I mean, everybody has a podcast, or everybody listens, or has a friend that maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, but as long as you're interested in wherever you're at, if you're interested, you could probably be really damn good about, as far as talking to people. You know what I mean? It's just, you got to be interested. I've met some really introverted fools that you just get them around their comfort environment, and they go off, and you see a completely different version of that person. Oh, I didn't realize I just had to have them around computer geeks, or some guy that you didn't think was too out there. You bring him around his engineering buddies, and you get to see that, and they're like, oh, okay, wow, this guy really blossomed.
Yeah.
Wow, that guy really opened up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's booze. Sometimes booze will just open you up, man, and that's great.
Every time.
Yeah, all the time. Like too much. Too
Yeah,
much.
sometimes
for you,
too
dude.
much.
Jesus Christ.
Drink responsibly, guys.
Jesus, Danny.
But it's an art too. So I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed being able to sit down with just rad people and get the opportunity to pry. It doesn't always go as smoothly as you think it's gonna go, but if you keep on at it, like you said,
Yep.
you'll strike a chord. You'll pick up on it. If you're listening, you'll pick up on it, and then you can start carrying it into their world. And as soon as they feel like they're in their world, then they get really comfortable.
Yeah. Do you have like a full production team? Do you?
I have one dude.
One dude.
Yeah, I have one dude, Rick Romero, Ricky Rowe. Shout out Rick, dude. That guy's he's a magician. At this point, I don't really want to do anything in the podcast space or in the production content creating space without him. He's my dude. He got brought on, and we found synergy. He kind of knows me at this point, so he kind of knows what angles to cut. When from an editing standpoint, he kind of just knows exactly where the embellishment points are, because that's another art, right? Like D,
Sure,
it's
yeah,
like
definitely.
editing it's a whole other thing too.
Fuck yeah. Definitely is, dude. And some people, if you don't really have the vision for it, then you're going to get stuck. If you're just thinking you're going to go in there and just, somebody's going to say some cool shit and that's it. Like, that's not really, that's not how it works.
It's like if you got a video on your phone, or if you were recording some sort of video movie or whatever the hell, if you just press record, you're going to get a bunch of dope shit. You're going to get all the ingredients for something incredible, but it's not incredible yet. You have to slice and dice it in order for it to sound and look incredible, right? Because you're only really just using what you already have. So the thought process would be, well, I already have the incredible components of this. Why can't I just release it like that? It's like, well, duh, it's not that simple. You gotta you gotta tailor it.
Yeah, that creative eye. You have to see that angle. You have to know how to use the zoom ins and zoom outs in post production.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You have to kind of sculpt it, bro. I like to look at it as like a big block, and you fucking have to chip away at it until
chiseling.
You chisel it until it's like exactly what you want, because that's what it is. You're literally cutting 1 second off. No, that didn't work. 1 second off. That didn't work. 2 seconds, whatever. You know what I mean? By seconds.
Yep.
A couple frames.
And that should take a couple frames, and then it's where you want it to be. But it takes forever. Some people don't realize. Some people are like, "Why are you charging me that much for that?" It's like, "Fool,
Bro.
I don't realize."
Yeah, man, it's a
what
skill
it is.
set. It's
Yes.
a skill set for sure.
Especially when it takes hours upon hours. I mean, I'm sure bro. You're working on entire videos.
It's attention to detail. That's what it
Always.
is. And a lot of people don't have attention to detail in anything.
But even it's not even just that, bro.
I'm just saying.
In anything.
It's really not even just
You
that,
know
though.
who
I
you
mean,
are.
it's all of it. It's like the music. It's the way you're doing your transitions. It's
Everything.
bro. It's everything. And to
And it
really
starts with the filming too. That's where it starts. If you have a vision for it, first you have to film that shit with the vision in mind, and then you can get to editing and really get it to where you want it to be.
Do you ever have dreams of tricks and angles and even specific skaters, and then you tell them and they go do it and you make it happen?
Every day of my
That's a
life.
good question.
All the time, dude.
Like-
Hell,
Well, how much control do you, or how much input do you have sometimes on
With
these
skaters?
skaters? Yeah.
I love to think about it as like a coach and like a boxer or something like that. I think I talked to you about that before. It's like I feel like I'm the coach sometimes, and shout out to the homie Coach Hobby. That's his Instagram handle. But I feel like sometimes I'm like I have to coach them through some things. Not really like a coach, but like more like a emotional support type shit. And I'm there like, yo, man, like sometimes they'll skate a thing for 3 hours straight, and I gotta be in there. I gotta throw in the towel for them. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get hurt if you keep going. Like it's time for you to stop.
How do you figure that out, though? Dude, I've seen some wild videos of Andrew Reynolds, who has he almost has this OCD tick thing. Where,
yeah.
He talks about the madness.
The
Yeah,
madness,
yeah. And then,
bro.
so you go how far do I let this dude go? I mean, Andrew Reynolds, obviously, but similarly, when do you think it's time, and how do you make that decision before robbing them of that great moment?
It's it's just through experience. Like I've skated with whoever for 3 years. I know how they operate. You know, I know at what points their body's already given out. I know at what points they can still continue. I know their mannerisms, how they act. And I'm like, oh, okay, this fool is really, you know what? I'm going to cut it right here because he's already, I can tell, you know, just from being with somebody for so long, spending hours and hours together filming and skating and doing all this shit, then you're not going to be able to call it on the first time that you meet someone or the first time that you film with someone.
Yeah. Do they tell you to shut the fuck up sometimes though?
Sometimes, yeah.
You're like, yo, enough. Just record. Like, have you ever gotten that?
I've never gotten that. No. Fuck no.
Because-
I would leave.
No,
if somebody
because-
told me that, I'd fucking dip.
Well,
I'd be
because
like,
if
"Fuck
someone's
you,
in the
dude."
zone, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that. I don't know that world in that extreme sport. You know what I mean? You do.
Yeah.
You know it, and then
I
you
know.
know it.
Yeah.
You know. But like for me, it's in a weird way. It's kind of like, don't tell me where my greatness is going to, when it's going to present itself.
Maybe, but I think what Danny's describing is definitely like, I don't know, if you're watching a dude jump down maybe like a 10, just like an average 10, but he's like battling some trick and he's just getting wrecked. And you could tell, it's like, bro, you're not going to be able to walk tomorrow and probably for like another week. You need to chill right now.
Yeah.
Dude,
You know, kind of
that's
vibes.
true.
Yeah.
So
and then,
yeah.
but then you take it from there, and then if you tell the guy that, and then the guy goes, "Fuck that, I'm fucking got it right here." Then I go back into support
It's
mode,
context,
and I'm
right?
like, "You got it right,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Fuck
that
it.
makes
You really
sense.
want to do it? Fuck
That
it.
makes
Do it
sense.
right
He
here.
understands.
you
He
know?
understands what's happening. It's like, fuck it.
Dude, the
run
homie and fellow industry brother Jordan Hoffert. Do you guys ever watch his
fucking
dude,
legend.
he's so
Dude, yeah, but
gnarly.
no, my point I'm bringing him up. Shout out Jay, but did you ever see his part on, like, I think it's called Face Melters, where
My
where
Jay.
where it was being hauled in,
Yes.
and he just didn't stop, and everyone was like, even Chris Cole was like, oh man, this guy, I don't know, and he did it. Like, he ended up landing
He's
it.
a fucking legend, dude. Okay. Oh my god,
Dude, he did the gnarliest
That's so
tail
funny
slide.
that you bring that up, dude.
Tail slide on this I think it's at the end of its digital
The
part.
big black shootout ledge.
Get tricks or die trying.
Neff,
No,
purple
not
beanie.
that one.
Purple beanie.
I think it might be that one. Yeah.
Is
yeah.
it? Wait,
Yeah.
is it? Dude, it's one of his last parts, or one that I like really watched like from back in the day, and it was like,
Drops off like
dude,
a story
fucking
high.
tail slide, and just like, dude, it was like it was an ad too. It was like a sequence ad. Like was it Powell? Was it Powell or Digital? What was
I don't even remember.
I know the part,
I
though.
remember the
He's
part.
so
I remember the part. Yeah.
gnarly,
Oh, he's a
bro.
He's in.
How do your legs even take that?
Hey, but dude, some people got it like that, dude. Like, okay, Jordan, at that point when Face Melters came out, the video that you're talking about, he was already not really putting out video parts or anything like
That's
that.
true.
He was mostly focused on doing the brewery. I mean, it seems like to me. You know?
No, he even said it.
know?
Dude, they called him up and he just showed up. Like, he didn't even warm up or anything.
Dude, that's how gnarly he is. He
Some
does not
people-
even need to practice. He just got it like that, bro.
Some
Like,
people got it in them to fucking really push
but if that's how
through.
you skate,
Yeah, but like that's my point. My
Probably
point
not
is,
every
like,
time.
when do you go like, yo, yeah, I'm not. Dude, you gotta stop. And I guess you answered that right now. It's like if somebody's like, I don't know, it's contextual, right?
Yeah,
like
it is.
if they're like, dude, just trust me. I think I got this. All right, well, you let
then
it
you
go,
got then you go
let it
back to supporting. You don't
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
not you know. It just depends.
It's a wild grind, man. It's a wild grind. Anyways, I don't even know how we got there,
how
but
did we get
I don't
this-
even
well, we
know.
were
We
talking
just
about
started talking
Danny
about
and
skating
filming.
or something.
Well, we were
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about Danny and filming, and
we conversation. We were talking about how the art behind having a good conversation,
Oh,
the
yes,
art of
yes.
pulling people outside of their comfort zone and into a space where they can tell their story and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's kind of what this all is. Podcasting, the reason podcasting got super popular and hot is because people forgot that fucking talking to each other is dope. Like, having
Yeah.
great conversations with people is actually pretty rad, you know? And they want to record it because you don't know when you're going to hit. You know, you don't know when the lightning in a bottle is gonna appear, and you just have to have conversation after conversation after conversation, and then a lot of times you're gonna strike that one real good, introspective, life-changing conversation. And even if you don't have a popular show, the side effect, the reward at the end is that you were a part of that, and that's kind of how that's how I kind of look at it.
Well, it also
people get
helps-
caught up in listens and views and stuff like that, and it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
dude, it's about the interaction with somebody and being able to, after every conversation that you have, you walk away with new knowledge sometimes, or it's just good laughs and just a good time in general with people. But all in all, you're also just you're building your communication skills in general, listening, talking.
Sir.
And that is, I think, even through the podcast, I've talked about it before, is that I realized recently, probably within the last, 20, 30 episodes, of the importance of just being an effective listener as opposed to a speaker as well, to really let people to hear what they have to say, to understand it, not act like I'm waiting for my turn to talk, but just really listen to what you're saying and then go from there and be think about a solid response too. Cause some people just they're trying to talk over you. They're trying to talk you ever talk to
What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
people
Yeah,
when
you
they-
looked
I'm
at
just kidding.
Danny. You looked at Danny.
I was just trying to
right in
talk
the
over you.
eyes.
I was just trying to
That
talk
I
whole
was like, no.
that
I
whole
was just
sentence
thinking-
was you were just dead
No,
locked
I
on
was
him.
trying to go
I
back.
just
and
wanted to
forth.
talk over you just to make just to fuck around.
No, I was gonna say no. You ever have people who they ask you a question, but then immediately just start answering the question? Don't you?
Oh yes, bro. They don't even let you talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of those folks.
Yeah,
and
Jeff is like that.
I've been that person for sure. If I'm in an argument or something like that.
Well, that's an argument. I'm talking about regular life.
No, like a regular chit chat. No, probably not. But I've definitely been that person where it could be it depends on kind of the heat of the moment. But they're learning lessons. Those are all learning curves. Everybody has an inclination to do that. And I think everybody has a don't breathe all the air in the room kind of philosophy. And it's if I don't get to tell you the thing that I need to tell you right now, one, it won't be as impactful in their mind. And two, they don't think they're ever going to get the opportunity to say it. And it's kind of if you just slow down, you'll realize that all you got to do is remember, listen, absorb, and then it's your turn. And a lot of people don't have that. They have this natural inclination that they need to get out what they need to get out. And I don't know where that comes from. It's a little narcissistic sometimes, but
It could be the ego for sure.
it's
Yeah,
the ego. But
definitely.
I've done that. I mean, I've been guilty of that. I'm not.
I mean, we all
For
have.
sure. It's what I have to say matters or whatever.
yeah.
Especially when you're in an argument. Emotions are high.
And when I think I'm gonna fucking forget it.
That too.
Also, yeah. Because you're I had a cool thing to say. Fuck.
Yeah, and again, you can have that junction in the conversation, and it could be well created. What I mean is you can do it tactfully. You don't have to interrupt. You can still change the course of a conversation, let's say, or you can still get your point across and do it in a way that's going to be well received, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But anyways, that's, it's cool. We're just shooting the shit, drinking beers. Of course, you're going to fucking talk over each other once in a while.
Dude, that especially if we're talking about skateboarding. When we're talking about skateboarding, I mean, did you go? Okay, so Danny. You're from
I do.
Calexico, or are you from Mexicali? And then
I'm from Calexico.
Calexico.
I lived in Mexicali when I was a kid. I lived there for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
But I've always gone to school in Calexico, we'll say.
Okay.
Yeah, I got similar upbringing. I went to school till I was 4 or 5 years old, and then I went to Calexico. And then
So you were in Mexicali first?
I was born in Mexicali, and then I went to Calexico when I was 6, 5, 4. I don't
What
know.
elementary school?
I gotta ask. I went to Mainz first. Well, I went to Mainz first.
Okay.
What?
No. It just changes the way I look
Talking
at you.
shit?
No,
Where
I'm
did-
just
oh.
kidding. No.
Oh, wow.
What do you got against Jordan?
Your slide, fool. Your swings
go?
were bullshit.
Where'd you go?
Your fucking playground was bullshit.
Playground
Blanche
was
Charles,
sick.
bro, I was a Dolphin.
Blanche Charles, you such a
Full, we had hallways. We were
little
indoors.
bitch, dude. Fucking Blanche Charles.
These motherfuckers were stuck outside.
This fool. This fool went to the
hallways,
school next
bro.
to me.
He went
dude.
to, the
down
nice
the street,
school.
dude.
It was nice. It had tile on the walls.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look, bro,
dude,
if you want to talk
You
shit
were-
about Mainz, dude, we can take the shit outside right now.
Yeah, well, we can definitely do that.
Did you
can
even
end-
go to
we
the
can end the
same high
podcast.
school? Did you guys go to the same high
There's
school?
only one high school over there. Well,
What was
I
Maine's
mean,
mascot? I even forgot. I didn't even know.
Trojans.
The Trojans? That's
Trojans,
good.
yeah.
It's a good mascot. Dolphins were kind of weak, but super smart.
Second
Yeah.
smartest thing in the living thing in the world, no?
Yep.
Yeah,
Dolphins?
yeah. What's the
They're
first one?
savages.
It's fucking
I've met plenty of people that are not.
Ants.
Oh yeah, ants.
it's not us.
Dude, have you
Ants
seen
are
that?
Not the smartest.
Have you seen that? Dude, I don't know.
Well,
about
I
that.
mean, then more than a dolphin.
bro, there's this crazy
Can we
video.
Google this? What the-
Anyways,
It's humans first, dolphins are second. I think ants are third or some shit like that.
No, I feel like that's bullshit. Anyways, go
Dolphins
ahead.
are second for sure.
Dolphins for sure.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
what
Joe.
about orcas?
Orcas
I
are
think
mad
I
smart.
think orcas are like 53rd. Or something.
What about octopus? They changed their fucking
Octopus
shit.
are like
Dude,
76.
Keep
or something
talking
like that.
amongst yourselves.
What? How do you?
I'm gonna find
When
the
did
top
Danny
list.
become the? You are the
Dude,
high,
this is what I'm
the animal
saying.
kingdom hierarchy fucking expert. Actually, no,
Actually, bro,
orcas
check
are
it out,
actually
man.
14th if you
Fourth is,
account
dogs.
for the armadillo. Like what? How did you
I
even
bet
know
you an
that?
armadillo's hella fucking smart.
Dude, armadillo.
Hold on. What am I can't think of the
armadillos?
word. Wait, is it,
Yeah, dolphins, bro.
smartest animals? That's what it was.
What? It's definitely not humans.
Animals.
With that
We're
comment,
supposed to be the first one. We're supposed to be the
I don't know about this human.
civilized or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay. Listen. Okay, you were right. Humans were the top, obviously. Dolphins number 2.
Yeah.
Ravens are number 3.
Ravens?
Pigs
What
are
about
number
crows?
4. Chimpanzees are number 5.
Pigs are
Elephants,
smarter
number
than
6.
chimpanzees.
African gray parrot.
They use tools.
They know what they're
African
doing.
gray parrots are number.
Where are you getting your
Seven.
information
Yeah, I don't even
from?
know. Did you
What
ask
are you doing? Are you on some
ChatGPT?
random ass fucking website? What are you doing?
No, it says sentinelmedia.org. 12 most intelligent animals in the
See,
world.
that's fake, bro.
Well, it depends on the metrics, right? Because chimpanzees, don't they use tools? Don't they have opposable
okay,
thumbs?
okay,
Aren't they the closest thing to us?
Okay, wait.
I think
And
it depends where you're at, too.
we have updated ones here at 2023. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, what year were?
Okay, number 10. Number
This was
10.
looking at 1975 and shit.
Number 10. Number 10 is rats.
Before the Galapagos, like
Wait.
before.
Wait. Number 10 is rats. Number 9 is pigeons. Number 8 is crows.
I thought crows were gonna
Number
be
7 are pigs.
sooner on that.
I did think crows
Number
were gonna
6
be
are
way up there, yeah.
octopuses. Number 5, African gray parrots are number 5. They're still on the list. Number 4 is holding strong elephants. Number 3,
Holding strong.
Go elephants.
chimpanzees. Number
Shouts
3,
out.
where the closest genetic relative comes in 3rd place on the list, most intelligent animals. 98% of their DNA with humans. Okay, got you.
What about before Christ?
Number 2, bottlenose dolphins. Number 1. Number 1, orangutans.
Well, we're not even on the list.
We're not even on the
we're not
list,
even on the
bro.
list.
We're not even on the
I believe that
fucking
list then.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good list.
Okay, that's a good
That's
list.
Dude.
That's a good people right there.
Octagon.
Over there.
Octagon.
The octagon? Who taught you octagon?
Speaking about UFC,
Orangutan.
who's fighting this weekend?
Oh, we got to. I know Angie Overkill right here from Chula Vista. I don't know if she's from Chula Vista. I know she
In the
hangs out.
UFC?
Dude, her grandparents.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, her grandparents
that's
are
tight.
supposedly the first people who ever
UFOs.
got abducted.
The UFOs.
Yeah,
By
Angie Hill.
aliens?
Yeah,
Her
bro.
grandfather is like famous. Did he write something
Barry
about it?
Hill.
Barry Hill, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You
And
guys
she
know the
is
details?
a sick
She's a professional
fighter.
UFC fighter.
Isn't she fighting? No, it's not Mackenzie Dern, right? She's not fighting her.
I don't even know. I haven't been keeping up, guys. I'm
With
out
the
on
UFC.
this.
I know your boy's coming back in
Tony Ferguson.
Dude, he just
El
got a Dewey. He
El
just got a
Cucuy.
Dewey in
Bro,
there.
dude, that
Yeah,
guy
Salt Lake
got
City.
a
Fighting in Salt
Dewey.
Lake City.
That guy got a Dewey, and then the first thing he did was put on his running shoes and he went back to work. That dude, dude, he got it, and then he just started posting stuff about him just working out, like getting ready for a fight. I'm like, yo,
He got, what'd you say? A Dewey?
Yeah, DUI.
Oh, a DUI.
yeah. Unfortunately, nobody was hurt, but yeah, he got into an unfortunate incident. Look, dude, it's very hard to be apologetic about it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But the dude just put on his running shoes right after, and I'm sure he's using it as his therapy, right? But
Yeah.
he's fighting.
I mean, dude, it's like
he got announced.
UFC 291. The card is
Dude, that's
stacked.
oh my god.
It's
the
like
BMF, the BMF
Who's in it?
belt.
Who's in it?
The BMF.
Gaethje and Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier for
That's
the
the main
BMF
event?
belt. Yeah. And then
Oh,
there's-
that's the baddest motherfucker.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
such a funny name, dude.
It's such a weird
It's
belt.
it's a dumb belt.
It's a
fake
made
belt.
up.
I was gonna ask. It's like, is it actually legit?
Gaethje and Poirier can't get past a certain level. They're better than a lot of the people still coming up in that
Better than
division.
like the whole roster, pretty
But
much. No?
both of them can't wrestle for shit. They just can't. They're
Oh,
not.
is
I mean,
that
like they
what
do jujitsu, they do wrestling, but they're not of that level of like a Charles Oliveira who can just strangle the fuck out of you. So it's like
Oh, he got strangled his last fight.
exactly. So these guys, well, he did too, ironically. But what it is that he's obvious. Charles Oliveira is still better than Gaethje and Poirier because he can take their punches, and then as soon as he gets on their back, done. It's a wrap. They can't do that to him.
They can't, but they're also not anticipating that it's going to go there. That's the thing. That's the problem. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good strategy. It's they have a golden window. It's like Chuck Liddell kind of shit. I have a window, and I'm going to throw everything I got into knocking you out. And then if it goes into later rounds, it's about survival.
Yeah.
And that's not the smartest. That's not the most well-rounded way to fight, because there's plenty of people that have adopted that fight style that are monsters, megastars. Chuck Liddell being one of them.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna run into a Khabib. Then you're gonna run into a Charles Oliveira. Yeah. Charles Oliveira is one of the craziest fighters, because what he was able to do is he was able to stay under the radar for a long time. Like, he was in the fight game a long time ago, and then he blossomed. Dustin Poirier has that too.
That's true.
Dustin Poirier is a gnarly. He's definitely the
been
best
knocked out.
boxer.
But
couple
there was like this leapover moment, right? It was like this weird. He got insanely good, elite, from being really good,
Yeah.
slowly but surely, and then it was just like a quantum leap. You saw that in Canelo too.
Well, dude, I mean,
After he
Dustin
lost to
Poirier,
Mayweather, he just
Yeah,
got better
yeah,
and better
yeah,
and
yeah,
better. And right now he's kind of.
Well, once he lost to Connor and then he beat Connor's ass, fucked him up. Only once in my eyes. I don't think he fucked up.
Doctor Stoppage.
I
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Your wife's
honestly-
just in me DMs.
So
Bro,
crazy.
I
He's
have
a
to
showman,
say,
dude. He's like a showman.
I
He's
have
so
to say,
smart.
bro, he did not beat him a third time. He did not. He broke his fucking leg. It doesn't count.
But dude,
No,
I
it
mean,
doesn't
Doctor
count.
Stoppage.
he
It
still-
does not count.
It counts on the
It
on,
counts
on paper.
that,
On
but
paper,
Dustin
whatever.
Poirier knows.
I want to see it
He
again.
never beat him.
I want to see it again.
It's still 1-1.
I
in my
want to see it
opinion.
again.
That's an interesting. I think that's an internal battle that elite athletes have with themselves.
Yeah.
Because like what Danny said, it's like, hey man, it is what it is. Yeah, he won. Doctor Stoppage or not, I broke your leg.
Well, he broke his own
he
leg.
broke his-
He
Well,
broke his own leg.
Well, dude.
But dude, no, that he broke his own leg. He broke his own leg because his fucking leg is just standing there, and he kicked it on that one spot where that bone can crack. Granted, Dustin Poirier's leg, he's a strong motherfucker. I'm not saying I would, if I saw Dustin Poirier right now, I'd be like,
Well,
yo,
Connor said that he didn't
Yay,
check
big
him.
fan.
Connor said that he didn't check his kick, and I forgot if he did or didn't. But
don't
I
remember.
mean, dude, the first thing they say that Connor went in with an already compromised leg.
Yeah,
He,
I heard that.
Whatever, right? Whether or not that's true or not, the first thing he does is he throws the fucking gnarliest leg kick with a bad leg, and then it's like within a couple minutes, he just like boom, it's done. Thank God it wasn't like a Chris Weidman. Bro, I watched that live.
Anderson Silva,
And I watched
same
Anderson
thing.
Silva's-
Same thing.
Bro, I just hope, because it wasn't as bad like that. It was broken. But it wasn't like as bad as like both of theirs. So I'm hoping, bro, I want Connor to come back and win. I love Connor.
I
He's
want
fighting,
Connor
he's
to
fighting
win
my
too.
other boy,
He's gonna
Michael
he's gonna
Chandler.
fight
I
Michael Chandler. Shut up! What are you
How
talking about?
dare you?
don't like
You
Chandler?
bite your
I do.
tongue.
No,
You
I do.
bite your tongue.
That
I
was
do.
nice,
I do.
man.
I do.
Michael
I like it.
Chandler is the shit.
Is that your
Dude,
boy too?
But dude,
Hey, favorite beer, Michael, you know it. Grapefruit Sculpin is his favorite beer. He told
that's
me.
his favorite beer.
Oh, yeah, that's his
Dude,
favorite
no,
beer.
I really do like Michael Chandler. And then when he knocked out Okakui, I was losing my mind. I was
was
like,
torn.
Bro.
I was
I mean,
torn.
I get
Yeah, I
it.
bet.
I get it.
I was really torn.
Dude, and he's really nice. Like he's like all the like the UFC countdowns. Like he's with his family. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, he
Dude, like-
adopted like a couple kids. He's
Yeah,
he's a man.
doing the
He's a
damn
man.
thing.
Dude, the guy's a stud.
I'm a big fan.
Michael Chandler's a stud.
He
a
makes
big
fun
fan.
of himself after the fights because he's just like in these brawls and he's wearing a fucking face ice mask. Dude,
He truly is like
Oh, that's
he's
true.
truly like the people's champ, dude. Dude,
I think he is,
Just
yeah.
just you know,
America is fuck, dude. You see him rocking the American flag, son?
bro, he's
love
Mr.
he
it.
loves it, he
America.
loves it, he
That's
loves
Best
what I'm
backflips
saying.
in the game. Look, it hurt me to see him highlight reel Tony, but no-
Oh, it was the front kick. Huh?
Dude,
That
real
front
quick,
kick.
super
Oh
perfect
my
too. Because he's
God,
kind
I
of short.
forgot
He
about
yeah,
that.
he's kind of short.
Yeah, he's short.
He's
He's
like
a short-
5'6".
yeah, he might be 5'7".
He can head kick. He can head kick your fucking head.
Dude, and Tony's a big guy.
That's what I'm saying. He's 5'6", and he's over here throwing front kicks with like, dude, get out of here. Hip dexterity and fucking stretching. Homeboy must do really good in yoga.
At least he admitted that he didn't practice that. He was like, "Hey, I didn't practice that. It just came."
Yeah, he did come out and
'Cause
say
what
that.
if he
it
was like,
like,
"Yeah, we was throwing that kick all fucking camp long." You know what I mean? Some people do that. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean,
know,
but
you
they
know
have the
you
video to
weren't.
back it up. You ever seen like Jorge Masvidal's and Ben Askren's fucking knee? He was practicing the knee.
But some
Dude,
people,
Jose
some people
Aldo.
fake it.
If you look at McGregor's
Yep.
training for how he was going to open that fight, it was textbook what happened.
Yeah.
The step back, and on the step back, that hook or whatever, and it just took him out. And he practiced that. It's wild. It's kind of wild to see.
Dude, the one Henry Cejudo and John Jones. When John Jones was fighting Cyril Gane, they showed because Henry Cejudo
I
was
saw that
chained.
one.
Was
I
trained
saw
with
that.
John
Oh,
Jones.
yeah, I
He
remember
shows
that.
the
Yep.
exact fucking sequence, and they had put Henry Cejudo and some guy doing the exact sequence, and John Jones executing it exactly, and they lined it up so it's exactly the
Yeah,
same
and then
way.
Cejudo's showing everybody, and then John Jones is like,
Yeah.
you see that he's just downloading it. Like you see him, he's just like,
Bro.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. Disappointing fight in my opinion because there's some fights where you just get the better of another guy or you catch him, and in a crazy exchange, but that. In a weird way, like Cyril Gane, we all know that he's capable of so much more than that.
Dude, he went 5 rounds with Francis, and then he can't even last. Like, what was that? The first minute or the
round,
first
yeah.
2 minutes of the first round? Like,
It was kinda
John
boring to me.
Just mopped him.
It was weird.
I
to
was
see.
happy. I was happy because I wanted John to win.
yeah, me too,
But
yeah.
like,
It was weird to see.
dude, do you think I thought about this? I was actually thinking about this morning because all of the back and forth between Francis Ngannou and John Jones.
Oh yeah,
they're going
chirping.
back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So John Jones, I was thinking, is like Francis Ngannou. All you have to do is weather Francis's haymakers, weather that first round. Granted, I mean, this is right. He's a huge man. He knocked my ass out. I'm just saying,
Hardest puncher in the UFC.
in the world.
In the world,
almost.
I think.
Is it the world?
I don't know. They say that he's the hardest puncher. But
Tyson Fury thinks he can take him.
No.
Dude, Tyson Fury would outbox
yes.
his ass, no problem.
Yeah, he would outbox the shit out of him.
He would outbox
Easy.
everybody he's talking shit to. Now,
Easy.
could he do the same thing to them? Not a chance.
No.
John Jones
Well,
would fuck him
That's
up.
what they say. He just responded to that the other day.
I know because he
I
called out Joe
I
Rogan.
love
Called him a
fucking-
midget.
I love Tyson
Dude,
Fury.
I can't believe
I
he
felt
called him
attacked.
out.
I'm the same height as Joe Rogan.
You're 5'8".
You are
I felt
5'7"?
attacked.
Dude,
You are kind of small.
I'm a tiny
He's
guy.
6'9", bro. He's a full-on foot and an inch taller
Fucking
than
taller
you.
you, fucking goddamn
Fucking
Kareem
five-
Abdul-Jabbar over there.
5'10".
No,
bro.
you're not.
I'm 5'10".
Get the fuck out of
Bro,
here,
we had this
bro.
conversation
No,
already.
you
I am
did not have this
5'10".
conversation. Bro, you're short as
I'm
fuck, bro.
5'10",
You
bro.
are
You're
5'4".
short.
You
If
are
anybody's
5'4".
short,
I'm
it's fucking
5'9". I'm taller than Jeff.
You're
You're
5'9"?
5'5".
5'9".
You're 5'9".
You're 5'4".
I'm 5'10". Fool.
I don't believe
Jesus
it.
fucking Christ.
You walk
5'9".
around like you're 5'7".
I walk around at 5'7".
You
but I'm really
carry
5'10".
yourself like you're 5'7". You need to boost up that confidence.
My walk around height is 5'7".
Dude, you are too
I
much.
walk
My
around-
walk around height is 5'7".
Yeah, but
What are you
my fighting height is 5'10".
No, your fighting height is like 5'2". Because
What the hell do you mean fighting height? The hell does that even mean?
Because he fucking.
Is
spreads
it
out
like
his
yeah,
legs,
you?
he's, like,
It's like a
bobbing his head
peacock, like
this.
where when a rooster's about to go, like it tries to inflate itself. Like, dude, this is how big I really am.
Yeah, that's exactly what. That's exactly.
That's
what
exactly what I'm saying.
Well, you're talking like a 5'7" guy.
I know
Calling
I got
himself
5'7" energy,
5'10".
but I'm 5'10".
What?
I think you might be 5'10". I don't know.
I'm 5'10".
I don't know about that.
I'm 5'10".
I have to
We'll
look
do
at
it
you when you
after the
stand.
show. We'll have, you have a ruler? We'll go.
I have a-
we'll go
I
Listen,
have
I'm gonna be
measuring
honest, dude.
Go
Growing
foot by
up,
foot.
I didn't have like a complex. I wasn't like, oh man, I'm such a tiny guy or short or whatever. But UFC did help me be comfortable with it. Like watching small guys just be
bang out.
fucking, world beaters. That was nice to watch. Like watching guys like Mighty Mouse. You don't know it. You don't see like Sean Shirks, and you go like, wow, that guy has all the limelight. That guy has all the fame. That guy is an animal, and he's like 5'6".
Dude, Brandon Moreno is seriously what, like?
Yeah.
I don't know.
5'5"
How tall
or
is he?
some
Yeah.
shit?
No,
And,
he's a short
Francis
guy.
Ngannou,
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, Francis Ngannou literally
Huge
can
fan.
just like put his arm on top of his head.
Oh,
You never
really?
seen that photo?
No, I haven't. No.
Bro,
Dude, all of
tiny
these guys are not that
Tiny.
tall. Like
Really?
Brandon Moreno, even Patty Pimblett, like they're even Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is like he's your height. He's like 5'10", which I'm not saying you're not skyscraping.
No,
It's
no,
like
no, but I'm not
these,
super short
These
either.
guys are like tiny for what they're doing.
Are you looking it up?
I want to look at
Look it up.
I want to see how tall he is now.
Like George St. Pierre is like 5'11".
Dude, GSP, fucking yes. But I showed him GSP highlights. He'd never seen him.
You've never seen.
I've only heard
How
that
dare
because
you.
I'm newer to the UFC. I'm a huge boxing
No,
fan.
basically,
I'm a
by the way,
big
guys,
boxing-
he's 5'9". He's as tall as I am.
Who?
Conor McGregor. We're the
Conor
same height.
McGregor?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? Basically, I'm saying I'm the baddest motherfucking man on the planet. At me right now.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, dude. I swear to God.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm gonna walk around here with my fucking arm like this.
The shorter you are, the,
Hey, yo, hey,
the
man,
more
number
bad
2, man.
motherfucker you
Check
are.
the fucking Yelp.
Yo, dude, that's so funny. Oh my goodness. Okay, but Jeff, I wanted to ask. So like, moving on.
I
subjects.
like this, man.
Dude.
I fucking love this, dude. I'll talk UFC all day, skating all day.
I love UFC. I could talk UFC for so long, but I do want to ask before I forget. Did you get into beer as a whole, as a passion, or did you want to do it? Or was it just like you fell into it?
I just, dude, honestly, I didn't homebrew a day in my life. I haven't. Before I started applying to breweries, I wasn't a home brewer. Honestly, I still don't really care about, we'll call it the science of brewing. I appreciate it. I'm good at it now. I understand it at least. But that's not where my passion ever lied. It wasn't like I was a home brewer and so the common trajectory that you used to see in the craft beer industry was there was a guy making beer out of his garage or in his kitchen, and then, you know, he'd bottle it and he'd pass it around to a couple of his buddies, and everybody was like, oh man, this is really good. And then they'd give him, you know, a sense of confidence, and then they'd go on to maybe make a career out of it because it was fun. They enjoyed it. They enjoyed cooking wort, right? That wasn't me. From day one, I had always been in love with the end product, and not even the packaged beer. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
The end product to me was always what beer and similar beverages can facilitate, which is great conversations, having a good time. I always associated beer with, being jovial and having a good time. And I kind of took it more to a philosophy than I did it was never a hobby, I'll say.
Yeah.
And so when I decided to get into the craft beer industry, it was very much a conscientious decision. I was in nursing school. I had graduated as a nurse, and I had a decision to make. And my decision was, do I want to stay in this particular industry, which, by the way, has all the trimmings. You know, nursing is it's true to the name, right? It's a vocation. You have to just be all about it. And I met some very beautiful people doing some amazing things when I was in nursing school and when I was doing clinical rotations and stuff like that. So I did not stay with nursing because I thought the job wasn't nice or fulfilling or rewarding. That's not why I left. I just made a decision. I was like, listen, I want to tailor my life such that I'm going to hopefully make a living doing what I actually enjoy doing. And if anybody listening has heard me on other podcasts, I've said this. It's like a broken record, but it's truly what I believe. Beautiful things happen in a hospital all the time, right? Babies are born and people get better. But for the most part, you don't really want to be in a hospital for much longer than you actually need to be in a hospital. And that's just the truth. Because there's sick people that need help, and it takes a very particular, armada of people with a heart of gold to be able to stomach that for the rest of their careers. That's a long time, right? And so I said I didn't want to be a part of that if I had some other option. So I just selfishly decided to take another route. And I said, well, if I wasn't doing this, where would I be? And at that particular time, I'd probably be at a bar or a brewery, right? So I was like, can I make a living doing this? There's plenty of people that are doing it, so why can't I? And so early on, I made a decision that I was going to pursue this, we'll call it a calling, but it really wasn't that. It was really just like, I just saw what I wanted to be involved in. And I wanted to be involved in creating good times and better times. And the hospital just wasn't that for me.
Understandable.
If that makes any sense. I don't know if that...
Dude, why wouldn't it? Yeah.
Well, I would say, to be fair, at this point in my career with beer, I would say that maybe I see them a little bit more as equals at this point in time. But the calling and the fact that I'm making a difference, whether it was in nursing or whether it's in beer, I see them as equals. I'm still doing something great for people, and the people that do like beer or my particular product, if it makes them happier, then fuck yeah, then I'll take it. So to me, it's scratching the same itch, I guess.
Now, you did nursing, you're in beer. Do you think this is your end goal, or do you feel like you're going to shift to another pretty serious career? I mean, like beer now, I imagine from like the time you had discussed that you got into it, I mean, you've been in it for some time, and it's definitely changed, especially being in San Diego. I mean, there's like San Diego is like the mecca, or one of the meccas of beer in the United States, period. Next to like what, Portland and
there's plenty of them now, but like Portland and Denver and there's plenty of spots around the world now that are just so craft centric. But here in the United States, I would say San Diego's still. I mean, if I'm gonna say it, I think San Diego's still number one. But people want to measure it by like with this per capita thing, but I don't think it's necessarily that. It's like, oh, we're the craft beer mecca because we have more craft breweries per capita than any place else. Like, it's not that. It's just that energy. It's something else that makes you number one in that sense. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we have our city dedicated to it. I mean, I know that Petco, I mean, is affiliated with like Ballast Point itself, and then it's like there's just so much. Everything about San Diego in general is craft, right? Like you go to Petco Park anyway, and it's like you have like. Like the craft shack.
Yeah,
what is
it's
the
North Park?
Well, it's not even North Park. It's like,
but you know what I mean.
They
it's
have like the Crack Shack. Is that what it is up in or like
the Crack Shack? The Crack Shack is
Not
that
Crack
restaurant
Shack.
in Little Italy.
No, it's
No, Crack Shack. There's
Cardiff.
There's a lot of Crack
Cardiff,
Shacks.
C diff, like they do Cardiff Crack. But it's
Whoa, that sounds illegal.
dude, it's like a steak thing. It's way better at
Cardiff
Petco.
Crack, yeah.
Dude, it's like everything there, and they even have like a Donovan Steakhouse at the place. It's like everything about the Petco Stadium and everything about San Diego in general is supporting small business or craft or people that had like started in a certain
They've really
way.
leaned in on that, and I think it's beautiful because there's when we have tourism, when we have people coming in from somewhere else, and they happen to stumble across one of our institutional pillars, one being our, whatever sports, whatever is sports affiliated, whether it's Pachanga Arena, whether it's Petco Park, you name it. But Petco Park is kind of like this weird little espresso shot, if you will, of our city's culture.
Yeah.
When it comes to, I guess when you're looking at it through the eyes of the culinary and the bar life angle, you go in and you go like, oh shit, like you said, I'm finding, Grand Ole Barbecues in there,
Dude,
Barrio Dogs in there. I'm like, what?
Dude, Barrio
They
Dog
got Barrio
is in
Dog?
there.
Oh, they
I
got
forgot
Barrio
about
Dog,
that.
dude. Yeah, dude. They got Board and Brew. They got we have a restaurant in there called The Draft. You name it, and there's like a bunch of spots there. And then coupled with that, there's all of the craft beers that we're synonymous with as a city are in there. You have Carl Strauss in there. You have Coronado in there.
Pizza Port.
Alpine Pizza Port's in there,
Yeah,
dude.
Pizza Port, yeah.
You have Alpine just has a cool little nook now that
Dude,
they
they really
opened
do.
up. Yeah, Alpine. And we're there obviously, but like you get this nice representation of who we are as a city, piggybacked on the sports component in the stadium. And I think that there's a reason why Petco Park was, I don't know, weren't they like voted number one stadium or something like that?
Dude,
I
it makes
have
sense.
heard
It's
that they're the
nicest.
best stadium. I'll tell you right now, I went to the Yankee Stadium.
Bro, I went to the
That
Miami.
shit was kind of weak.
I went to the Marlins game.
I'm straight up. I'm sure everybody in New York is gonna be hating me, dude. But straight up, compared to the Padre Stadium, Padre Stadium's way
Bro,
nicer,
the
dude.
Padres Stadium is the nicest stadium I've ever been to. Well, actually, the New York Met Citibank Stadium is really nice. That one's pretty nice.
But what San Diego hasn't had in a long time is that
A good team.
Oh, ouch.
Damn.
Jesus Christ. Regarding
Holy shit,
MLS.
dude.
Just kidding.
MLS is
MLS
coming.
will
Yeah,
save the
MLS
day.
is coming. MLS is
Sorry,
coming.
Landon.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Landon. We'll let you in.
Yeah,
we'll let you
yeah,
in.
yeah.
I'm just
No, but like you walk into places like Wrigley Stadium or even maybe this is the same way in Yankee Stadium. You go in and there's like a vibe in there. Like I will say this. I took the sickest, one of the most impactful tours, not just in a sports stadium, but anywhere. I took in Chicago. We were up there and we went to Wrigley Stadium.
Yeah,
right?
Wrigley.
And I had one of the dopest tours there. Shout out to whoever the hell our tour guide was there because he really did make the experience that much more impactful. But there are just some slabs of land in this country where you walk in and you just feel it. It doesn't need a Ballast Point, little concession stand.
It's the history.
It's the history. It has like, okay, some shit went down here, and I can feel it even before anybody lets you know. It's just kind of like okay, but from that, everything in between to what we've got, I'm not saying the history hasn't been made in our stadium. I'm just saying that we're not synonymous with that feeling just
Not yet. It's getting there though.
Yeah.
It's getting there real quick. And honestly, within the next 5 years, it'll probably happen.
Well, I hope so. But right now, you're not leaving Petco Park going, I felt the history. I felt the history books being written in it. No, it's more like it was dope. And everywhere I looked, there was badass craft beer. And I got a great, TJ style dog and all that stuff like that. So that's what you get right now. And I'm proud of that.
Dude, Tony Gwynn Jr. being like one of the announcers. I love
pretty
that.
dope.
Dude,
That
I got
is
to
pretty
go
dope.
with Riley.
I don't know
and Shay.
Tony Gwynn. Who's that?
What?
Tony Gwynn? He was the goalie.
Mr. Padre,
He was
bro.
at the World.
That's Mr. Padre.
No, he was. Wow, what team? What country?
394.
What country did he play for when he was the goalie at the World Cup when it was in
Wait.
Africa?
Wait, what? Tony Gwynn? What are you talking about? What? I was like, what is he talking about right now? Dude, Tony Gwynn is the fucking Mr. Padre, bro. He's the
He's the Mr.
only
Padre.
time.
Wait,
the
we're being
Padres-
serious. You're being serious.
He
right?
doesn't
I have
know.
no idea who it
He
is.
does not know
You
who
thought I
Tony
was
Gwynn
joking?
is.
Oh, that's why I kind of kept rolling with the joke.
It's not a joke.
Ooh, ouch.
Bro,
Wait, show me.
394,
Pull it
the
up
entire
right now.
beer.
Pull it
I
up
don't have
right
to pull
now.
up shit. You pull out your phone, you pull it up.
You were over there pulling up dolphins and
Because,
shit.
dude, yeah, because that's interesting. The fact that you don't know Tony Gwynn, bro, what's wrong with you?
By the way, the
Homie.
Dolphins were still number 2 on both lists that he brought
Yeah,
up.
just so you
Wait, we're still
know.
on too. That was
African
me, man.
gray parrots
Tony.
moved up.
Weren't they? No, they were like 13.
Hold on.
Don't look it up.
No,
You
no,
don't
no,
need to
no,
look it
no.
up.
I'm gonna go get a hell or high
Don't look
water.
it up
One
again.
second.
Oh yeah, bring me one too.
June 16,
Yeah.
2014.
21st
nickname.
Amendment.
Oh,
Let's go.
Mr. Padre is his nickname.
Well, we're all learning something here.
Best baseball right fielder who played 20 seasons. Major League Baseball for the San Diego Padres. Did they win? Has the Padres ever won the series?
No, I think we've only been to the series.
You've only been once, and it was with Tony Gwynn.
And then, okay, so he's Mr. Padre. The left-handed hitting Gwynn won.
By the
8
way,
times.
he's just not a legend in this town. You know that there's
Bro,
a lot
he's
of
a legend in
Yeah.
life.
I don't know anything about baseball, bro.
Dude, it doesn't
Come
matter.
on.
That's
It's
Tony-
apparent
You're
if
in
you don't
San
know who-
Diego. You need to know this. Like me talking shit about the team not being
I'm
good,
learning now.
That's just
man.
facts.
This is me learning.
Hey,
Okay.
you got to respect that he's
That's
You're
he's
all
open
mad at
to
me.
learning.
Look, man,
Yeah.
I'm on fucking.
Nah.
I'm on Wikipedia right
Danny,
now, dude. I
suck
don't
it.
usually
Okay, you
pull
suck.
up Wikipedia for anything, really. But I'll pull
You
it
got
up
to
for
give it the
Tony
times,
Gwynn.
bro.
Sorry,
Dude,
bro.
Hey, you know what?
Chat
man?
GPT would have answered that right away.
Shout out to Mr. Padre, man. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to that's right. Show some respect.
I
bro.
respect, man.
San
I
Diego.
didn't know.
God.
I'm not from SD.
I'm not from SD, and I know this. Come on, man.
Yeah, but you
I'm
watch.
disappointed
You watch
in you right
baseball
now,
games,
Danny.
man.
Can I say that I love your show and the tangents that we take?
Dude, I know.
It's not like
well, because we're talking shit to each other. That's why. That's if it was actually, like, I don't know, if it wasn't like us talking shit.
No, dude, I greatly appreciate it. I like talking about random shit, dude. It's nice because we were talking earlier about the whole captivation behind podcasts and anybody that likes listening to podcasts. It's just sometimes you really just kind of want some real. I don't know. I call it bar talk just because of my particular industry, but you know what I mean. It's just kind of like
Camaraderie.
Dude.
it's just a camaraderie, and it's just like a random flow of conversation, which is what most people do most of the time.
Yeah.
And so when they recognize it somewhere, it's nice. It's a little nice relief for them that they're not always trying to be bombarded with a script or some notion of what we're trying to accomplish here. Sometimes it's just like, no, dude, we're just hanging out.
Well, I mean, for this one specifically, I mean, like, just in comparison to maybe like the last one. So Ponka, and she came on. She's a binational street artist, muralist. She's doing a thing at the Children's Museum right now.
Oh, she's
and,
killing it.
dude, it looks so sick.
What's
and
her name?
she's
Ponka?
killing it.
Is that her?
Her
Yeah.
name is Paola.
Paola. Look, he fucked it
Paola,
up.
fuck. And she was
Apparently,
like, don't-
Paola is hard to pronounce for
Paola.
the whites.
Wait,
wow.
Ponka is not her.
It's not her name. It's her artist name.
That's her artist name.
Oh yeah.
But she's like, just call me Ponka. It's easier. I was like,
She saw
I
your
fucked
eyes.
it
You're
up.
like, "Ah, your
I
eyes
was
are.
like,
Your eyes are. They're colored.
what?
They're like, let me make this easier for you.
Wow, dude. Okay.
But Danny just said you can't say Paola.
Paola.
Well, see, he can do it.
No, I didn't say it in a while, and I fucked it up.
I just got a text from Abraham right now. Tony Gwynn, Trevor Hoffman, best Padre players so far.
Ouch. It's
God
true.
damn it.
Dude, see,
Off
but
screen,
anyways,
getting roasted off screen, man.
but Ponka, when she came
Paola.
on, it was
Say
Yes.
it. Say it.
Paula.
That's pretty
That
good.
was good.
Paula.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
Paula
That's
is
Good.
she's doing really, really cool things. And when she came on, for me, it was like I've been trying to get her on for a year, right? So when she came on the show, I had specific questions I wanted to ask her because it's like, hey, you're doing cool ass shit. You're making a living off of these huge murals that you're doing on the side of buildings, yo. Like, yeah, that conversation. I drink water. That whole conversation. I wasn't on my third beer. Talking shit with the boys.
What the hell does that mean?
Like,
No, he was like, I was serious.
I was serious.
And I was like, wait, what? What am I?
Right now, we're
Chop
not-
liver over here.
No, I'm just saying. It's like there's a difference.
What we're trying to say is that Blanca's like way cooler than you.
That's how I took it.
She was way
No, I'm
cooler.
just kidding. I'm just. No, dude, you got to understand when she was on. I mean, we
Like,
were
she
on
was
because
like-
she was serious, like
Dude,
like
we
a
had
real
whole
guest.
production team. You should have.
I wasn't over here just
It
fucking
was crazy.
flailing away.
No.
Nah, Jeff's
we were
coming. Like,
talking
Lapping
shit.
my yap. You know, you got some real sass, all right?
I told you, dude.
But you know what? I'll be honest. I like your moxie.
Dude, thank you,
The moxie,
I
man.
appreciate it. But that's, dude, yes, like it changes with guest to guest, and this one just like for sure is just us talking shit.
Good.
Like talking shit. We're talking
Good.
about fighting. We're talking.
That's what
we're
I wanted
drinking
it to
beers.
be.
And it's not very serious. Like you're definitely not a serious person, dude. The first time I met you, you were definitely like I don't even remember what you were saying, and I'll just save it because like I know it wasn't like super like
PG.
yeah
PG, PG
Politically
14?
correct.
Politically correct.
But I was like, and I remember you looking at him, and he was just like, "Nah, bro, you can't say that." And then he was like, "Wait."
Did I
and
say
then he was
that?
like, "Yeah." And then you were like, "I'm just fucking with you guys. I wanted to see how you're gonna react." And I was just like,
Yeah, that's how I walk into rooms these days. I'm
Dude,
just gonna
there's no way I
say
said that.
something.
If I said that, then I was probably joking.
No, I think you were being pretty sensitive.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want around me. I don't give a fuck.
No, you're
Dude,
sensitive.
he's way more offensive than I am.
Dude, he's super
All of a
sensitive.
sudden-
It's what you said, right?
What did you
Sensitive
say?
more
What
than
did
you
you
are.
say?
Yeah,
What?
I know. I agree.
Sensitive. If anybody's sensitive,
You
around
gotta
here,
gauge people
it's
these
fucking
days, dude.
Mr. Tony Gwynn.
I'll walk in and I'll just yell. I'll say like the election was rigged, and then I'll just look around. and then I'll just look around, and if people get all uppity, I'll just be like, how
It
this is
was.
not my kind of party. and I'm talking about school council when I was in 10th grade. They didn't ask any follow-up questions. I'm like, you know what? All you guys are presumptuous.
Dude, what if you just walked into a party and were like, "Let's make America great"?
Who's getting mad at that?
Dude, I mean, like, you just turn around and see
Name
what
me
they say.
somebody that's really like, you know what, dude? What you said back there about this country, about making it great, I ain't with that.
Dude,
Like, what?
I know
I didn't
a
say
lot of people
again.
who would say that.
I didn't say again.
Let's just.
I didn't say
let's-
with Trump.
No, again.
See, that's
Just make
assumptuous.
it great.
Why do you have to add them on there? That's you're racist, bro.
Assumptuous.
No, you're racist, bro.
What
That's
does
fucked
Somebody,
up.
what is?
Why
I don't even know what
He said I'm
assumptuous
making an
means.
assumption
Why are you assumpting?
of something? Why am I
Assuming.
assumptuating?
Why do
I
you
think is the word that you're looking
assumpting?
for.
You're sure this is not a pot shop?
It's weed. If anybody, he smoked weed before, for sure. Caffeine and green.
I've never smoked weed in my life.
If somebody stumbled in here by accident and heard this conversation, they'd be like, okay, this is a pot shop.
Those guys are high
Okay.
as fuck.
Somebody told me it was just coffee, but obviously
It is
these guys
definitely
are
just
roasted.
coffee.
No. Again,
I've never smoked weed in my life. Anyway.
Anyways, here I'm gonna take this time right here to bring up something that when we had the other conversation, it was really fucking cool that you were talking about, and that was fucking Spanglish. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Of
Okay,
course.
so you
Wait,
and
that
I,
wasn't today.
so you and I, huh?
That wasn't today. This is the last.
No,
time we were
the
here?
other day.
Oh, okay.
So you and I
We're
are
at
from
fall.
a town where you're most likely have really good Spanish, or you start off with Spanish because your parents are fucking Mexican as fuck, and so are you and I, and then you know what I mean, and
I
then
and you.
and then you grow up. A lot of kids go to the U.S., which is like you and I did, and you learn English in school, but when you're at home, you speak fucking Spanish to your parents. So when you're with the kids playing in recess, you end up speaking Spanglish, and it almost becomes like a brand new fucking language.
I agree.
Without even realizing it.
We were talking about this because I was trying to shed a little bit of respect onto the articulate Spanglish speaking community, which is when you start butchering, by the way, in quotations, butchering English, a lot of times on the front face of it, what's the best way to say it is that like you might appear or come off as though you're inarticulate, or for whatever reason you're just kind of like you're not the brightest, right? And it just has that natural correlation with if you don't speak articulately, then you know there's something to be assumed about your understanding of certain things. And when we grew up in Calexico, Spanglish was a real thing. Now, one of the things that I kind of started to understand later was how genius and how smart actually the construction of the interweaving of the two languages actually is. What I mean by that is to understand a language, just one, and understand its context, understand some of its the art behind English, and then similarly the art behind Spanish, right?
Accents
and
shit.
accents, and especially in the Spanish language where a lot of objects are what's the right term? Like it's not personalized, but it's like they're like it's female or male.
Yeah, masculine or feminine.
Yeah, you know, you deem them that. So there's a lot of context that you actually need to understand in order to articulate yourself properly in a particular language, right? But when you're speaking Spanglish, follow me on this one, and you're kind of going in and out of two languages that each have a subset of rules that you need to adhere by in order to be coherent.
To be understood.
I'm like, dude, I listen to some of my homies or my friends that are popping in and out of Spanish, but they're not doing it nonchalantly or without any rhyme or reason. There are certain sentences that are both English and Spanish that even me and Danny would be like, dude, there's something wrong about the way he phrased that. Like it doesn't sound good. You didn't bring in the Spanish at the right time or in the right place.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
when you hear a properly executed Spanglish sentence, you have to bask in its glory, because it's like, in real time, how do you decipher all of that context and splice between the two and make something that is actually coherent? In both languages, you are actually being accurate with your with the way that you use that particular terminology. And that's when I started going like, yo, these guys are like, some of my friends that I were like, dude, you're speaking Spanglish, you sound dumb. I'm just like, wow, you're savant. Like, Jesus Christ, it's like you're a DJ in a weird way.
Oh,
it's like, you know, like in real time, you're splicing these two songs together, and you look at a DJ and you're like, wow, that sounds really good. How did you make something that shouldn't really even go together? That's weird. That's like a crazy mashup, or what is it? Mashup,
yeah.
right? And then you think of it with music all the time because it's abstract, but it exists in language too, but you don't give it the same amount of respect because you don't think about it. But if you were to think about it, you'd be like, that's a crazy way you just mashed that up. And
Dude,
it's actually kind of smart.
No, it is, and I agree
up.
with that. I think also like I would say like the rhythmic tone of like each
Right.
English language, like
right.
I mean,
The
English and
tonality,
Spanish,
yeah.
it can go that way. Because I mean, as you're saying this, I'm thinking like, I used to live in France, so when I was growing up, I lived in France with my mom, and I would speak French only outside, and I would speak English when I was at home with my mom. That was the only time I spoke English the whole time I lived in the country. So you can't, but it doesn't work. At least I was thinking, it's like, how would you splice in like
English?
like a French-English combo the way Spanish and English would be?
It would be, well, you'd probably have to have people living next to Spain, no? Because France is next
No,
to
I mean,
Spain.
I'm saying how it, like, the equivalent. Like, that's the only other language I've ever spoken, which would be French and English. There is no equivalent. That's what I'm saying to his point. It's like, with the Spanish and the English, the way that both of them go and, like, they're rhythmic and the way that they sound and, like, yeah, there's definitely different words in English from Spanish. But the way that it goes, like, estaba lurking. Like, I remember when you were saying estaba
What does that even
lurking.
mean?
Like,
What
I
did you
was
call me?
lurking. Dude, it was just like, I don't know, the way it
Lurking.
works sometimes, it's just like, it makes more sense that you're able to switch in and out of Spanish and English, especially like when it's so used. I mean, whether it's in Calexico, whether it's right here, like pretty much from San Diego around. Like, there's not a lot of people in San Diego that don't speak any sort of Spanish, at least in my opinion. I mean, definitely there's people who don't speak Spanish here, but there's more people than I would say a good portion of the population would speak Spanish here, or some form of Spanish, Spanglish,
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. And all I'm trying to get at is that English alone is a pretty complex thing to pick up, right? And you have to really start really early in order to get halfway good at it in your later teenage years. So when you grow up having these two languages that you have to kind of like, hopscotch between, and you can kind of you get spit out of this thing with I don't know, let's say a decent understanding of both languages, but then also a rudimentary understanding of how to combine the two.
Yeah.
I feel like it's another level.
I think it's its own language, bro.
It is its own language, for
Straight up.
sure.
Because if somebody comes in from like only English and then they try to come into a Spanglish conversation, they're gonna be lost. They're gonna be like, oh, what the fuck are you saying, dude?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let me switch off to just English for you, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but like I would argue that Spanglish is also a good segue to be better at one language than the other. So it's like if your first language is Spanish and you're learning English, right? But then you wanted to learn English better. It's just like, and you're like talking and you're talking and you're talking. You're able to use more like for instance, when I was in Miami, I was talking to my homeboy and he flew in from Ecuador that day. His English is about as good as my Spanish. So when I would be talking to him in Spanish, I would say what I knew in Spanish, and then I would switch over to English, and he would understand what I'm saying in English, and then he would translate back into Spanish what he couldn't explain in English. So it's like there's this degree of Spanglish going on, but it's different as opposed to being a savant. It's like, how can we meet halfway?
Well, the real thing is, though, that you're doing like a live show with language.
Yeah.
A lot of these circumstances
For real.
is like when you're explaining something and you have anybody listening and you choose to go the Spanglish route, I always get nervous because sometimes, especially like if I have a buddy that only knows English, let's say, and I'm like, how are you going to understand what my friend who's a Spanglish speaker, what he's about to tell you? But that's the art. The art is that the guy that has zero recognition of Spanish, he knows zero licks of it. He's like, yeah, I got that. I was like, that is amazing.
Yeah, I got
That's
that.
like a sleight of hand with your mouth.
Dude, it is, dude, straight up. And you were saying that you can't just throw any English in there. You can't just throw any Spanish word in there.
Exactly.
You have to, it's
It's got to be right.
It's premeditated, bro, but without even really, you know what I mean? It just rolls off your
I've always
fucking
thought that
mouth.
was interesting. And he gets it because we have a lot of friends in Calexico that
do
speak
that.
Spanglish or in the Imperial Valley. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's limited to Calexico or the Imperial Valley. It's just like any household or any region that has a dual language dilemma.
Dude, when Josue was here, we went out to
Josue,
go.
Josue's from Calexico, bro.
Oh, he
What
is from Calexico.
Josue?
He's
oh,
a
yeah?
rapper.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Dude,
No,
we
right,
went to go meet him one time. We were like eating pizza, and we're like, well, let's just go have a drink right here. Like, oh, hit up Josue because it was before the show. Dude, Josue came. We go into the bar after we're done eating and we're hanging out, and literally, I was like standing there talking to him, and then he would literally just be talking in English, like full sentences, and then all of a sudden just in Spanish, and then go back into English for a second, back into Spanish, and then back into English, and like I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
It's awesome.
It's
So
beautiful. It's
fast.
honestly beautiful.
love it.
It's beautiful. Hey, wait, vamos a tu house, güey, acá. Y luego
So,
acá,
hey, wait,
acá,
vamos a tu house,
You know
way.
what I mean? Like, that's like
That is Shakespearean. Way. That's Shakespeare. You don't.
it's a beautiful
Vamos a tu
thing.
house, güey.
Vamos a tu house.
And wait, even wait.
Have you never heard that?
no,
And by the way, he threw like two ways in there. Hey, wait, vamos to house,
Hey,
way.
dude, the second one was way lazier. He's like, vamos a
You have to be. You gotta know, man. You know,
Dude.
if you know, you know. I'll just say that. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? You gotta like you have to have lived it. I lived it.
Hey, dude, after a few beers,
Jeff
everybody.
lived it.
Yeah. After a few beers, everybody knows Spanglish, dude.
Dude, I would imagine. I definitely would imagine for sure.
But yeah,
I
no,
love
that is an interesting
Vamos a tu
point.
house.
And growing up in Calexico, I didn't think that. I don't know. I've said this on other podcasts before, but there's just something special about border towns and the people that come out of border towns, especially impoverished ones, because I do think that there's a benefit to. It sounds weird to say. It's almost like a backhanded compliment, but there's something beneficial about having a very, very severely limited amount of opportunities because it summons the artistic expression. Like you have to just be an artist. You have to be creative. You have to do something that goes against the structure in order for you to, have a future. And so a lot of times people that are coming out of these impoverished small towns, if all they have to do is sit around and think, then you typically get an artist out of that. You typically get a cool skater or a musician or
a crackhead.
Or there's very talented crackheads. I've seen some very, very very almost like
diverse.
a magician way of just wham, hitting the crack pipe.
Oh,
And
here's
like,
the
whoa,
pipa
did he
right
just do it? I
here.
thought, yeah, it's
The
weird.
Shout out Who's Gone Wild.
Say no to the pipa, bro. Hey, let's do a sock check, fool. What's up? Sock check right now.
Let's see right now. Let's
Sock
see
check right now.
Sock check me, dog?
They were way
Dang.
low. They were way low.
man,
What's
look,
up
man.
with that? Nah, you pulled them up.
They do say dickies though.
It doesn't even matter. He had to pull them up. He ain't about that life, bro.
Look, okay,
Yo.
sock check.
Sock check right now.
Let me see.
All day.
Oh, why, dude? What's up with
Those are
these?
low.
And it's
mine.
Raiders.
Those
And
are
it's
lower than
Raiders.
mine.
Nah, bro. But hey, at least mine stay up. Like, yo, big facts. And I
what?
got
You
Nipsey.
what the
Yeah,
hell?
you
You
had
got
to pull it
different
up.
socks?
Pull it up right now.
I never put the same socks on. It's just two different ones.
All right,
I'm
Jeff.
nervous. I'm
sock
nervous.
check.
Yo, let's
Look,
go.
I haven't touched them.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I
no
haven't
touching.
even-
No touching.
No touching.
I don't know. I'm super nervous.
Danny.
I'm super nervous.
Like, yo, let's see. Oh,
They're a little low. They're a little low.
They're
Hold on.
low.
Lame.
Both of you guys.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
up with the low socks today?
Wait, hold on.
boys?
Let me hook them up. They're not ankle socks.
Bro, that's sad.
It is a
Yo,
little sad.
how am I more Mexican than both?
Hey,
of
mine
you?
match.
Oh.
It is my fucking match.
Full.
Bro, okay, I want. Hey, whatever. Okay, I do have socks that match, but like,
But you
today
don't wear
wasn't
'em.
one of the days. Today wasn't one of the days. But, dude, I will have to say, I know you guys don't have to deal with this problem because like you're Mexican.
Whoa.
Right.
What
Okay.
the fuck was
But-
that?
I was.
Because I'm an
What are you
American,
trying to say,
I'm
bro?
An American-born Mexican. I'm an
So
American-born
he's
Mexican.
like, I know you guys don't know how to deal with this problem. So, anyways, he's like, at my job.
No, listen. Dude, my roommate.
So, as a business owner,
No, my roommate's always talking shit to me about how more Mexican than he is than me, and I'm like, nah, fool, I'm way more Mexican than you.
He's more Mexican than you.
He's not.
He is.
Maybe by Spanish. Maybe by Spanish.
Shout out to Ray
But,
Ray.
bro, Ray Ray was like, pull up your fucking 23andMe right now. I was like, all right, I'll pull it up.
What the fuck?
that's something white people
That's
do.
some
dude.
white people shit, bro.
Nah, bro. He was talking shit.
Chicano was like, immediately was like, all right, then I'll pull out my 23andMe right now. dog.
Chicanos have the sock check. This one has the 23andMe check for.
Hey, let me see your 23andMe,
Yo,
homie.
yo, you better.
Oh, he doesn't have it.
No,
Oh, damn, you're 95% white.
Dude, Ray Ray was 11% Mexican, bro. Straight up.
11?
11.
Man.
Everything else, he's just a white boy.
What about you?
33%.
Shut
son.
the fuck up. Ain't
Ah,
no way. There's no way.
son, I swear to God.
no way in
Native
hell.
American from Guadalajara. What's poppin'?
Native American from Guadalajara.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's
I like
fine.
Guadalajara. That's a good one.
Guadalajara's nice, man.
Dude.
Very nice.
I was
Carne
like,
en su
I
ju-
told
carne
Ray Ray,
en
I
its
was
juice.
like, shut up. I am more Mexican than you for the rest of my life. Just like forever.
Just because of 23andMe.
Wish I would have knocked off 6% by just having to present. Just having to present the 23andMe, you did get deducted
you
6%.
got deducted for sure. you don't just break out the 23andMe
Dude,
and
it
just
was
like,
so
hey,
funny.
look, man, this is what I am. Jesus Christ. Just because you brought your grandma coffee when you were a kid.
Wow.
Doesn't mean that you're
Honorary.
35% Mexican.
Honorary. No. It's all
It
good.
was super funny. It was super funny. I was just like, dude. But no, I grew up in like Northern California where it was definitely not. It was not that way. Just like with the Spanglish, with all that other stuff, is like, dude, that would have been really cool.
You guys like, yeah, it's very woke culture up there, dude. You guys had no shirt, no shoes, no problem kind of.
Dude, no, that wasn't what it was like when I was.
I
growing
thought
up,
that
though.
was. I thought that
Bro,
was like the
how
Berkeley
old are you?
era, and then
How old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay, I'm 37. Yeah, so we're like same age. So
Damn,
dude,
you guys are old as fuck.
dude, whatever, fool.
I
What
love
the fuck?
But tell me, why do I still look better than
Are
you?
you guys
though?
really
My
that
G,
old?
My G.
Are you guys
Tell me
really that
this.
old?
Stop it. Stop
I
it.
didn't know I was hanging out with like old ass fools.
Bro, you look older.
You
You
look
look older than
older.
us, bro.
You look like you have three grandchildren,
I think I'll
fool.
dip right now.
You
I'm
look
about
like
to
a
dip.
dad, bro.
Are you guys good?
What?
You guys
Am
need
I
help
good?
getting up?
Wow.
No.
Tell me why you make a sound every time you sit down.
Hey, dude, he grunted. Right now with the sock check, he grunted, fool.
I was like,
You know, do I really have to pull these up? Ah. And
What's
they're,
up? Hey, what's
they're
up?
old man socks.
Dude, yeah, they
hey,
are.
they're the most comfortable socks I ever had.
They did look comfy.
What's up with this one? You
Hell or High
want to
Watermelon.
explain this one?
Hell or High Watermelon.
This is not balanced.
It's from the
21st
Bay.
Amendment.
It's from the Bay, son.
21st Amendment. Shout out to Sullivan out there. El Soli.
East Bay, nickel dime, baby. What's popping?
What's East Bay Nickel Dime?
Nickel dime.
We went up there not too long ago, actually. I was up there. We just opened up a tasting room in San Francisco.
Did you
Oh, I seen that on your story.
Yeah. So we were up there, kind of bringing the whole team up to speed, checking out the spot, making
Ooh,
sure
that's
everything was
good.
going to go. And we swung by 21st Amendment. Dude, those guys are badass. Those guys and
They're so
gals
cool.
are badass, dude. I mean, I went in there already kind of liking what they do from a beer perspective. But they styled us out. They showed us around, and they were just so hospitable. It was awesome. Their spot is cool. It feels like a brewery. I know that sounds weird to say, but like there's just certain spots that feel like a brewery. Like there's been this influx of I'll call it like Pinteresty kind of aesthetics when it comes to tasting rooms and stuff like that. They look beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they don't look nice, and the attempt to look nice and clean and trendy isn't good. But when you walk into like a brewery that feels like a brewery, right? It has like some bench tables. There's the hardware's everywhere. It's a warehouse. That's where craft started. Craft started like in a warehouse, and it wasn't trying to be aesthetically pleasing. They were just trying to make the best beer possible and give you a place to sit. And that was about it, right? And that 21st Amendment, you go in there, they've taken it up another level because their artwork is super dope and their tasting room is big and
It's huge.
It's welcoming, but it still felt like a brewery. Mm-hmm. Same thing with this other brewery called Bear Bottle up there in
I don't know about Bear Bottle. There's like Drake's. Drake's is like right down the
Drake's.
street.
We went to Drake's.
Yeah.
Dude, Drake's another one. I was like,
Yeah.
I loved the tasting room. I loved the beer, but I loved the people that I met that worked there the most.
Dude, I mean,
That's what it should
it
be.
is the Bay Area for forever. Well, like it's changed a lot. I will say that now compared. I don't recognize it. When I was living there, it was starting to change a little bit. But bro, when I grew up there, it was different. And I mean, it was still smaller.
It's still pretty small, dude.
I mean, but like in the Bay, like back in the day, like it was just there was more fields. There wasn't as many fields as like when my dad grew up or my mom grew up. But my dad would talk about like the orchards being like where everything was, and like because my family moved there in like the 50s from Texas. Mm-hmm. So then they grew up and like got to see it evolve, right? And then for me, even like growing up in the 80s and the 90s and like into the 2000s. Yeah. Up into the 2000s.
That's
like,
after the 90s, yeah.
dude, I was just like, wait, when did I leave? Like, I'm trying to think. But then it was like, dude, it was like, I think I was 18. I went to college. 18 to 20. I think I came back, then I moved to LA. So it was like 18 to 20. So it was like going back, I think when I was like 25, I went back for a year and I got to see all of the new breweries and all of the things that were developing, but seeing how the city changed. It was like,
yeah.
It was different. Southern California is one way. It is, but it is so different from the Bay Area. And now, like, the Bay Area isn't what it used to be. Like, it used to be a tougher place. Like, fools would, like...
It used to be tougher?
Oh,
People
bro,
getting
yeah.
stabbed left and right over there.
Bro, no.
The
it
hell
was
are you
like-
talking about?
Everybody, there's so many broken windows over there.
Bro,
like,
in the city, but, like, in Oakland...
I don't know too much about it.
Bro, I remember being back in the day, like... Be like, I'm Mexican. I don't give a fuck. Blah blah blah. They're like, dude, you look white
as dude.
And they're like, I was like, no, I'm Mexican. I can go up in Oakland. They're like, you are not the right color, sir. Like, do not go over there. And it was like, okay, cool. And that was what it was growing up in the Bay. And then it was like, you'd go into the city and you experience all this different types of life and this melting pot of cultures and people.
Right,
and
yeah.
it's like, that is what it was. And now it is completely changed. I mean, they put a freaking building that looks like a huge dick in the middle of the skyline, the Salesforce building.
For real?
Like they even, dude, even the way they colored it, it's a big blue building, and at the very, very tip, it's white.
That's a statement, though.
What does that mean?
It's like we have
That's
the
like,
biggest dick.
yeah.
It's
Well,
a
dude,
choke.
that's a power play.
It's a power move.
Shout out, Salesforce. Good job. That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it, dude.
Dude, I don't
That's how
know,
you
bro.
fucking
They
do
changed
it.
the skyline, my G. I was like,
They-
that's whack.
Let me tell you something, dude. I'm not from the Bay Area, so I don't have that, let's say, affinity for it the same way that you might. But I went, and I was not surprised because I had heard similar stories about its the eclecticness. But dude, we had some of the best food. Me and my wife. I took my wife up, and we went around 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm having an Irish coffee at Buena Vista Cafe, which, by the way, I feel like a fool not knowing about the Buena Vista Cafe, dude. I had the best Irish coffee. We went to have some of the best Chinese food that I've ever had, and I'm from.
Wait,
and I am.
whoa,
let me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
And
Go ahead.
it was, and what he was about to say, I'm from Calexico, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
in Mexicali right there. Do you want to mess around with Chinese food? Let's go.
Dude,
and I still had some really good Chinese food up there. The drink, the
Wait,
the,
hold
the-
on.
the
Better than
drink and
Mexicali?
what's up?
Better than Mexicali?
It's different.
That's what he's saying.
Different.
It's
He's
just
saying
different.
it's better, son.
It's
He
different.
didn't
Not-
say it's better. He didn't
no,
say it's better.
I didn't say it.
Sorry to cut you off.
I had
Go ahead.
some of the best. I wouldn't say I had the best because, well, we got to go to Mexicali, bro.
Dude, I haven't been, and I've been trying to go. I tell this all the time. I want
You've
to go.
been trying to go. It's too. I drive up. I do it all the time. You trying to go?
Dude,
We
it's
go
like,
thitonight.
I don't
Go
wanna
right
go
now.
to Cali tonight.
Hit your ride.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
Hey,
Sunday.
you're 33% Mexican, dude. I'll throw you in my trunk and we'll go. All right. I'll
You
give you the
have
full
no problem getting
experience.
back.
I'll give you the full experience.
Wow, on the 98 West. Let's go.
Hey,
yeah?
no,
98.
but I was up in the Bay Area, and one of the nice things about it was the drink culture. So my buddy, his name is Jeff Bradford. He has this YouTube channel called Beer, Wine, and Spirits.
Sick.
And then he has this segment called Drink Destinations, where he kind of like picks a city, and it's kind of like a tour guide kind of deal, but it's all about like bars and different places to drink. So it's really well done. You should check it out. But anyways, I referenced his episode of Drink Destinations before I went to San Francisco because I really didn't know too much about it. And one of the things that I got out of that, besides just hitting some of his recommendations, was the Bay Area has a drink culture, a cocktail culture that is pretty impressive. It is one of the coolest spots to drink. It's a drinking city.
More than San
Bro,
Diego?
100, dude,
I
100
would say
no,
it's different. I would say
It's
San Diego, although has a really good cocktail scene, and there's vineyards and wineries, but it's
That's
beer
Napa,
focused.
though.
It's beer centric. So I wouldn't say San Francisco is better than San Diego on the beer front.
Yeah.
Not
No.
not even
No, we're
close,
not. No,
honestly.
we're not.
But if you were to go and try to just drink a city dry and go all encompassing, I would say San Francisco is one of those
It's nice.
towns. Yeah.
They're
in
nice with it.
Tenderloin, in the Tenderloin, bro. This was my favorite spot
Ouch, that
to
sounds
go.
hardcore.
Dude, you've been to the Tenderloin?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
I haven't
okay,
been.
okay.
I haven't been. No.
So in the Tenderloin, there was a bar. I don't know if it's still there. It was called Whiskey Thieves. Dude, Whiskey Thieves was across the way from this like guy. It was like Roughneck Hardware. I don't know if that's still around. Roughneck Hardware was an SF company.
That sounds pretty hardcore.
And
Sounds
like,
Whiskey
Roughneck,
Thieves,
man.
right across the street from him.
Roughneck Hardware.
dude, Whiskey Thieves, you would go in there, and I would go
Jeez.
there after like my I had 2 jobs in the city, so I had I was managing a cafe, and then I was working a bellman at JW Marriott, in downtown SF. What,
That was a class drop.
dude? I'm not classy. I was
No,
working
just
at
kidding.
the JW. Like
Sorry.
I'm faking. the funk.
Kano is probably the classiest dude I know, to be honest.
does
He
look
called me
pretty classy.
Fresa. He called me. Fresa. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck you mean? He's like, you're pretty Fresa. I
It's
was
good.
like,
Hey, I'll
Yeah.
tell you why I call him Fresa, dude. Okay.
Please.
And then this fool hits me up the other day. He's like, hey, man, meet me at the wine bar or whatever.
I bought a bottle. What are you talking about?
We're not trying to make fun of you. I love wine. I don't even know
love
why I
wine.
laugh so
But
hard.
how funny is that? He
I don't know why I laugh so hard.
laughed immediately.
I love
bro.
wine bars.
Yes,
I work at a
but
wine-
come
I
on,
work
bro,
at a
it's
wine
funny.
bank.
Dude. Come on. That's
Come
kind of
on.
that's kind of fresh of him. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
but what the fuck does that even mean, Fresa, for that? What
Like,
the
hey,
fuck?
look, he knows. He gets it.
I bought the
He
bottle of
gets
wine,
it.
and it was smart though, right?
It was good.
$18.
Yeah.
I got a 20. It was,
He knows it, man. He knows it.
it was
dude.
You gotta
18.
defend yourself.
Bro, It was $14 for a glass of wine. It was $18 for the whole fucking bottle. I was like, give me the
Like,
fucking
what is the
bottle.
what is the
you
finesse
math.
gonna do?
What
you might
a-
as well just buy the
That's a
bottle.
finesse move to do math.
Yeah.
Hey, no.
Anyways,
Anyways.
but listen.
Okay.
At Whiskey
Sorry.
Thieves,
Sorry.
I get off.
Sorry,
I
sorry.
would get off of one of the jobs, and generally it was after my JW Marriott job. I went over there.
Wait. What?
My Bellman job. It was
Your
after my
what?
Bellman job.
Okay.
The Bellman job. The JW Marriott's the hotel.
Okay.
It's in downtown SF. It's a nice fucking hotel.
I'm sure it is,
Yeah,
man.
shut the fuck up.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I would go over there, and for $8, you got a tall can of Pabst Blue Ribbon. They gave you a shot of fucking whiskey, and then they put a single Lucy cigarette in like the fucking
That's class.
the
That's
tab.
pure class.
They put the cigarette in the tab, and it was for $8. They go, there you go.
Oh wait,
And I
wait,
was
okay.
like,
So beer.
a tall can of Pabst.
Uh-huh.
A whiskey shot.
Yeah.
And a
And a
single
Lucy.
cigarette
Wow.
For
that sounds
$8?
great.
for $8.
What a deal.
That's a fucking
fucking
deal.
deal.
That's a deal.
That's a great.
That's
ass
a bargain.
I would take that every time. I'd go up there. I'd be like, yo, let me get that. And boom, I get the special. I fucking take the shot. I take a sip of the beer, or I would just bring it up, and then I would like sit it outside, and then I just go.
Wow.
smoke the
And you
cigarette
know
out
what,
front.
man? That is so much more welcoming than the Chicago handshake. Have you ever had a Chicago handshake?
No.
What's the
what's that?
Chicago handshake?
No, I want to apologize to all the people from Chicago that might be going like, "That's not." This is how it was sold to me. The Chicago handshake. It was similar. It's a popular combo, let's say, in Chicago, and it was Old English, I think, or yeah, was it Old English, or whatever? It was kind of like a Pabst, some beer like that. You know what I mean? Like similar to Pabst, right? It was a cream ale of some sorts.
Okay.
And then instead of the shot of whiskey, they gave you a shot of Malort.
Oh, I've had that. Yeah.
Have you?
I've had.
I-
Malort.
Have you
I
ever?
don't
Have you
know.
ever had
I don't
Malort?
know. I don't
Have you
know.
ever had Malort? Don't
I've
ever
had
drink
Malort.
Malort.
Is it
Don't
like
ever
Fernet?
drink
Is
Malort.
it like
It's
Fernet?
fuck. I don't even know how to explain.
Bro, it is the most disgusting thing that I've ever ingested.
Dude, that's Fernet for me. I can't stand Fernet.
I would say it's worse than Fernet.
Fernet's like the
worse.
minty.
Oh,
one,
right now people.
like
if-
limoncello. Like limoncello. Dude, limoncello is fucking gross. I'm sorry if anybody disagrees with that.
Anyways,
Super gross.
I go to Chicago and I made the stupid announcement that it's my first time there or whatever the hell.
Got a deep dish pizza thrown at you or
Oh
what?
no, dude! It's like
Take a pie.
yeah, it's like everybody gets to fuck with me, but legally, I think legally, like if you announce that it's your first time anywhere, they get to fuck with you and shit. And so they would give me a Chicago handshake or whatever, and it was that combo.
But is it
And-
like a 40 or is it just like
no,
a
it's like a tall can that I was getting. I guess it could be in the format of a pint or whatever. But, dude, it wasn't the beer. The beer was the delicious part. It was the Malort. The Malort thing. The Malort. I don't even know why.
So that's the
that's a
Chicago
horrible
handshake.
ass name. Malort.
it's
Nah,
pretty gnarly, dude.
I'm not about that.
It's
name.
pretty gnarly, and I regret every single sip of it or shot of it. But this is how you know it was
You
messed
kept
up.
taking 'em.
This is how you know it's messed up. And they call it a Chicago handshake, I guess, because it's kind of like a rite of passage into the city. Like, hey, you haven't been here unless you had this, right? And so I would take the shot of Malort, and I guess universally the reaction's the same. Is what the fuck was that? And you like your face squints, and then all the beer tenders or bartenders laugh, and they're like, oh, this is not
We
like a
got
good
you.
thing. Yeah, it's not like a fun thing.
It's a personal.
This is
thing.
like this is a joke.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like it's a joke, and I'm just the butt end of the joke right now. But that's the thing. And so this Bay Area combo or whatever it is.
Whiskey Thieves, yeah.
Yeah, the Whiskey Thieves combo. Shout out, what a great name. But like
That's
that
a good
whole
name.
thing,
It was.
it's kind of like every city, not every city, but like certain cities have that thing where it's like, oh, we're known for and then they'll tell you what the hell that they're known for, and they're not always good. That's my point, I guess. I don't know.
Dude,
what
no, but like I wanted to, when you said the Irish coffee, bro, so I don't know about the spot you're talking about.
Buena Vista Cafe.
Buena Vista Cafe. I might have been there, to be honest. I've gone to a bunch of spots.
this fucking
But,
guy.
but no, but
That's
see,
fine.
my
That's
dad.
worse than not knowing about Tony
Nah,
Gwynn.
Listen, no.
It's embarrassing.
Because you don't know about this. You don't know about Lefty O'Doul's.
Oh.
Okay, Lefty O'Doul's has been there since like the I have to. I would
Is
have
that
to
the one
check.
You don't know about Lefty O'Doul's either.
Is that
Bro,
the one next to
no.
Soma?
No, Lefty O'Doul's is in San Francisco. It's on it's in downtown. It's owned and still run by the
Lefty?
family of Lefty O'Doul. He was like a player who played for the San Francisco Giants, and it was a spot, and they're still serving the same fucking menu that they have it from back in the day. Like you walk in, bro, talk about nostalgia, talk about energy of shit that happened there. They have all the old school black and white photos of all the Giants players. We're talking like Orlando Cepeda, Willie Mays. We're talking about like all the old school dudes, right? And then, I mean, the Oakland A's players would be there, and like all these dudes, because it's the Bay Area, right? The newscasters, everything like that. And then you would have like Frank Sinatra photos, and like because it's San Francisco, right? Like
Legend.
You have these amazing people, and they're still serving the same shit. It's like turkey on a leg or some whatever, like some bullshit as mashed potatoes, and you just stand in a line. You're like going like this. You're like boom, boom, and then my dad, bro, like my dad will stand in line and not even get food and just get Irish coffee. And my dad, that's his thing. Like ever since I was a little ass kid, the day after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday, we'd go up to
Lefty O'Doul's.
We go
Lefty
up.
O'Doul's.
We go up to the
Is
city,
the
go
name.
to Union Square, and then he'd go to Lefty O'Doul's. We'd eat lunch. He'd drink an Irish coffee, and then we would like go and walk the city and do our thing. Right? When we got older, bro, we just go to Lefty O'Doul's. He'd just be sitting there just throwing back Irish coffee. He's like, "Yo, Dad, what are you doing?" It's like there's still coffee in that.
I thought this was a Black Friday tradition. I'm like, no, I do this every day.
This is what
I've been
I
doing
do.
it every day for years.
bro.
Just Black Friday is just a day.
Dude, he loved it. That was his thing,
Bro, so okay. Now next time I go, I'm gonna remember that.
You
And
have to go to
I
Lefty
will.
O'Doul's.
But I will say this. Check this out. So Buena Vista Cafe, I go in, and it's been hyped up to me so much that I thought it was gonna be like underwhelming. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yeah, the hype was too
Definitely.
much.
So they're so famous for their Irish coffee that they have this whole it's kind of like this whole show, right? They lay them all out, and they know that a bunch of people are going to come in for these Irish coffees, so they lay them all out and blah blah blah, and they're basically it's an assembly line of Irish coffees. So with that in mind, you think naturally they're diluting this thing. You know, they've realized that they're going to
not
sell these
strong.
things no matter what, and so they're going to try to get all their margin, right? And so this is not the Irish coffee that made them famous, let's say. And for all intents and purposes, it might not be. But my point is, I went in going, this thing's not even going to be that good, but we have to go because it was recommended. So I go in, me and my wife. Dude, it was fucking delicious. It was like, I took a sip of it, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, yo, the hype is real. Like, this is delicious, right? And I don't know if someone's listening going like, well, I used to go back when they barely started, and I can tell you they changed and whatever. But I'm just saying that it was really, 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 really good. And when you're drinking, maybe it was 9 a.m. Maybe that's what was delicious about it.
I mean, that too.
Yeah, it was like 9 o'clock in the
facts.
morning, and I was already catching a buzz. So maybe that was good. But the food was good. The Irish coffee was good. The whole setup, the whole feel of the bar was good. And I think we talked about this last time when we were at Fall drinking some beers. It's like people have this infatuation with the product and the product alone. They go, oh, I don't go there because their beer's not that great. Okay, well, fair enough. Or I don't like this because they have shitty this or whatever. And I go like, okay, fair enough. But what about all that other ancillary stuff? What about the vibe that you get in there? What about the conversations that you might have in there? I will gladly go into a place slinging dirt cheap big beer if I know that I'm going to have a good conversation like 9 out of 10 times that I'm in there.
Or
with
even
some
the vibe.
Oh,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. It's the
service.
vibe. And it's kind of like one of those things where in my world, man, in craft beer, you're going to get the snobs. And I think you need them. I think you actually really need the craft beer snobs because they're what keep the standards in place. They're the ones that go like, they're too about it, but they're the kind of the gatekeepers. You know what I mean? And so I'm glad that the quality doesn't suffer because we have a lot of people that really still care about the quality, as do I. But I don't care about the quality more than I care about the intent behind the product.
Or the end product that you were discussing earlier
Yes.
in the conversation.
Yes, the end product and what it's going to facilitate. So I have never really taken a stance of, well, I'm never going to drink this beer because they're big beer and I work for a craft brewery, right? And that's not me just saying it because of our history, because, you know, Ballast Point was big beer for a little bit, and then we came back, we're independent again. But that's not where that's coming from. What it's coming from, where my philosophy has always been is like, am I going to have a good time? Like, it doesn't really matter what beer you had in your fridge today. Here, right now, for this podcast. You could have brought out, honestly, Malort. And I would have been like, yo, this shit sucks. But no, but guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drink it and I'm gonna have a great time drinking it.
Yeah.
And Anthony Bourdain used to have the I don't know if you guys ever heard about the grandma rule. Like if he was at somebody else's house and somebody was cooking for him at that house and the grandma offered seconds on the dish, you just say yes. It's out of respect.
You gotta say
you say yes. Like it doesn't matter. You are there.
Whether
they
you
are
like
there.
it or not.
Yeah, they're cooking for you. They have extended the hospitality, and they're going above and beyond to give you an experience tonight in their dining room. You don't say no. You know? And I've always thought that was pretty impactful because that's what my philosophy is on anything, really. Like whether you have served me coffee today, whether you had no beer, whether you had only wine, whether you had Malort, I would have been like, yo, this is cool. Let's just talk because I know why I'm here. And I know that you're extending something that's a little bit above just a kickback. You're extending hospitality. You're close. You've been close since 1 o'clock today. Yeah. You're here because you're trying to accomplish something. You're trying to have a conversation.
I want to have a conversation.
Yeah, and I've never
we did that,
and we did, and we're shooting the shit and we're having a good time. But I've never wanted to undermine that and have any host feel like they haven't presented enough to me. And I'm trying, and I'm, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to download that to my children. I want them to grow up going, no. What they have to offer is what they have to offer and respect that and realize that sometimes, not all the times, but most of the times, that's all they have to offer.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You got to respect that. You know what I mean?
Because they're trying.
They're trying.
Guaranteed.
They're trying.
Yeah,
They're trying. And so I've really made it my mission to recognize the intent behind things and to really kind of like say, hey, I'm proud of you. Thanks for making this best beer ever. Thank you for making the world's best cup of coffee, whatever. But I need you to know, not insultingly, I need you to know that I'm not here because of that.
Yeah.
I'm here partly because of that. But I'm also here because I want to support you because you're a good guy or because you're a good girl and because maybe I've gotten to know you or maybe I believe in your cause. And I think that's the state of consumerism right now. I think we need to move people towards opting in to voting for a place because they like them as opposed to just because it's the cheapest and or the best, let's say.
Well, you touched on something the first time we met that has stuck with me since I met you was the story. Like, where's the story?
Yeah.
Or what is the story?
Yeah.
What is the story? Where's the story? What am I getting behind? Anybody can make, good beer. Anybody can make good coffee now. Anybody can do that. Granted, there's still a lot of people who make shit coffee. There's still a lot of people who make,
name them. Name them. Just kidding.
There's still a lot of people who make shit beer.
Number 2 over here.
Look, man, we are sitting here.
No,
with
I meant that as a compliment.
number two.
Thank you. No.
Number 2 ranked on Yelp, Fox fucking 5, coffee fucking
Dude.
brick and mortar.
So who you're talking about number 3 and below?
No, I'm not, because number three is one of my favorite cafes that I go
just
to.
kidding.
What I was saying is there's people who make shit beer, there's people who make shit coffee, and there's a lot of people who can make really good coffee and really good beer. What it is nowadays is like, how are you able to relate to them? Mm-hmm. Do they have a good product? Because again, this even goes back to what we were talking about San Diego. In San Diego, what I love about this city more than anything is you cannot fake shit here in terms of this is a craft city. Whatever you're making, beer, coffee, people are starting to make wine bars are a big thing here now. Food is starting to finally get better here. Where you're like, yo, I really want to go to this spot. I want to check out this food. Big deal. Like we have now, I guess, 3 Michelin star restaurants here.
Yeah, man.
So
Oh,
that's
really?
like, yeah, which is like
tweezers and everything.
Yo, hella sick. And to me, that is like, you cannot fake the funk here. It's like either you're doing beer, whether you're doing coffee, whether you're doing food. Nah, we're on a city that's on the come up. And it's like, bro, that shit for me is like, I don't know, man. Like you hear the stories behind these people and how they're doing it, and it's all tying into one thing. And it's like, you can't fake it here. And then people are really good storytellers here. We've talked about this. When you're like, just talking about what are you able to tell the person? I mean, like that even goes to like what you do for a living. It's like, dude, if you don't have a story nowadays, you have nothing for people to relate because there's a million other stories that are coming in all the time from everybody.
Yeah.
So what are they going to gravitate towards?
Right.
And what are you going to do to separate yourself and to really help people relate to you and your product? Because this is not even just about the product you're doing. If everybody can do a good product, then you're selling more of like a, I don't want to say lifestyle, but you're selling more of a brand. And it's like, how can people relate to that brand?
Yeah.
What's the story?
Yeah. What's the story?
And I would say, I would take it a step further. I would say that people think they're telling stories. But really, in most cases, you'll realize that it's just product descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't stories. Stories don't have, product descriptions don't have story arcs. They don't have rags to riches. They don't have morals at the end of it. They're just telling you what it is. And so some people, some companies have gotten off saying, oh, we're telling you a story. And then they go in and they just describe the product. And it's a shell of a story. It's kind of like, I guess it is a story, but it's not captivating in any way. And what I always urge people to think about is look at literature, look at actual stories. You'll notice that there's this difference between well-told stories, well-written stories, and then the rest. And there is a pretty stark difference between a story that's going to be like, there's a stark difference between The Godfather and other films, right? Like there's differences. There's levels to this game, I guess you could say, right?
Always.
And in your business and in your product, you can also reach those levels. But now you have competition that is getting really good at telling those stories, and so you realize, oh, okay, what I could just kind of like cruise by with, or what I could get away with, let's say, I have to step it up now. I have to actually really start taking my business, my story, my business model. I have to start talking about all these things because people don't just care about your product anymore. Because to your point, the guy across the street has the same product and it's probably cheaper. So you either do two things, one of two things. And if you could do both, good on you. But you either have to drive down your price, which is going to bring people towards you that are looking for that bargain, or you have to embellish your story and give people a reason to buy you. And that is when you're starting to play chess, in my estimation.
I would say it's definitely a combination of the two. Based on running a shop, you have to be competitive, and you also have to, how do I say this? Like, you can't sacrifice to a certain level, right? Like, you have to be able to, if you know your product is more exceptional than the neighboring competition, especially in North Park, right? That's a great example. North Park, there is so much competition already. There's more shops opening up by the day. Like, within 3 to 4 blocks, not even 3 to 4 blocks, 3 or 4 businesses from each other. To the point where you can just, like, you're just looking at each other every morning like, hey, how you doing, neighbor? What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
All doing the same thing. Better storytelling, better marketing, adequate price margin, or price
Whatever. Range,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. It's like you have to compete better, and then you can watch numbers go up. But you also have to, at the same time, you have to, I don't know, man. It's a different market in the sense where, like, even when I was coming up in coffee, it wasn't as competitive as it is now. And it definitely wasn't about the brand lifestyle and the brand image as much as it is now. Because now people like, dude, Jimmy Butler, you know Jimmy Butler? Do you follow basketball?
No.
Jimmy Butler was like the best. He's like the best player on the Miami Heat, which is on their team right now. They're in the
Jimmy
playoffs.
Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Oh,
Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
You have no idea who
Yeah,
Jimmy
right,
Butler
right.
is.
Dude, Jimmy Butler has a coffee company called Big Face.
Oh, what a name.
Yeah.
Does he have a big face?
I mean, I don't know.
Does
He
he? I
looks
mean,
like a normal human.
Is
I
that
don't
his
know.
nickname?
I don't
Yo,
know.
Jimmy Big Face Butler.
I don't know. It's
That'd be
called Big
awesome,
Face.
by the way. Like,
That'd
if
be
he
tight.
came up, like, for, like, you know, like a shareholder meeting and just has a big face.
Huge face.
No, but dude, he's known for, like, he would be getting on, like, the Miami Heat fucking whatever Miami Heat jet, and he has an espresso machine, a La Marzocco fucking thing, and he would like be bringing it everywhere with him. And now it's like, bro, I couldn't tell you if his coffee's good. Is it good? Probably. He's probably paying some good ass roaster to give him some good ass coffee. But what are they doing? It's a marketing company selling coffee. It's like all his marketing and all of that shit. It's like, bro, it is about the brand now more than the product. In my opinion, like my product speaks for itself, and it's going that way. But it is definitely more of how are you going to relate to the people who are in your community and doing that thing. We're past the days of just being a successful company in a community. When there's a community that's in a saturated market, how are you going to separate yourself?
There's
different.
There's a marketing guy that I love, dude. I love listening to his interviews. I love reading his books. His name is Seth Godin. He actually just released a cool, interesting podcast with Tim Ferriss. Go check it out, dude, because it really did open my eyes a lot more than they were already. But anyways, one of his things or examples was we think that this is a new thing, but it's not. It's actually been happening for a long time. And even in Google, like, so, and I'll leave you with I'll say this one before we can move on, but like Google and Yahoo, same search engine. They were the same. There was nothing that you can find on a Google search that you couldn't find on a Yahoo search. Like, it was the same algorithm. Like, there was no advantage, except people always considered Google a more mysterious, more fun, interactive, personal search engine. And it just started to garner a lot more attention because of that. Because from a utility standpoint, it was just doing the same thing that the competitors were doing. Yeah. And there's an interesting book by this guy named Daniel Pink, and he was talking about the right-sided thinker, which is just a way of saying that the right hemisphere of your brain that is kind of a little bit more responsible for the artistic oriented person, the creative oriented person. And he was talking about in an emerging society where knowledge workers and tech guys and software programmers and stuff like that reign supreme. In their evolution, they've kind of made the creative and artistic mind so much more valuable. And one of the examples that he uses is like if you go to Target today, you'll see a designer fly swatter or like a designer toilet brush, and you go like, well, or a broom. You go, it's doing the same shit that every other broom out there does. That fly swatter is is designed the same way as another fly swatter as far as its utility is concerned, but now they're designer, right? And so now people opt into, after they figure out the job that they need done and a cheap, effective way of getting that job done, then they start looking for other things, the meaningful things, which is the people behind it, the companies behind it, or the design. And I think that that's where we're heading with most things. We've already been there with food. Cars, exactly. Beer. It's kind of like we're not looking for the best IPA anymore, even though that's what we say we're looking for. We're looking for the best IPA, but the best doesn't necessarily mean that the beer itself is good, or the best, rather. It's everything else around it. And so that's it. You know what I mean? And I think that if you take that stance and if you start looking at most things that way, then you're going to bring so much more value to your life through the things that you purchase and consume that you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But you got to look at it that way. So come into Caffeine and Green where they care and they listen to you, and you know that they want to know who you are, man.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to work on that. But dude, anyways, so Jeff, we gotta get out of here. But
what is he doing?
I don't know.
Is he gonna flush the toilet? He's not gonna flush the toilet, is he?
No, he's not gonna flush the toilet. You're gonna cut this?
I want to be there for the peace out.
Okay. Sorry, Danny, guys, he's being a little lame ass right now. No, dude. Jeff, while we're waiting for Danny right now, tell people where they can find you if they want to check out your podcast, where they can find you at anything, social media, whatever.
Yeah, man. Thanks, dude. Again, thanks for having me on the show. I love these kind of podcasts, by the way. What you guys are doing is super sick, which is,
Thank you.
I felt like we were just fucking shooting the shit, which we were, and I really appreciate that. It sounds strange, but you'd be surprised how many shows or podcasts they try to concentrate on the hard hitting questions, and that's fine. I think I value that a lot. I get a lot of that, but sometimes you just want to hang out. Sometimes you want to crack open a beer.
Dude,
and
there
shoot
was
the
not going to
shit.
be a serious conversation had with us three based on the first conversation.
Yeah, we
the
already
three of us
had it. There's no
Dude, there was
fucking
no
way.
fucking way. I knew today. What are you doing today? I'm probably going to get drunk in the afternoon with Jeff and Dana. That's exactly what I planned on.
That was
I
my
like,
plan. That was my fucking
Yeah,
plan.
so
That was my plan too.
so there was. I mean, if we want to like sit down and get down
Nope.
to brass tacks, we can do that. But for what? Excuse me. sorry.
Don't need
But
to.
for right now, we're just gonna drink some beers. We're gonna have some fun and just like shoot the shit. And like, dude, Jeff, that was super fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks. If you guys do want to follow any boring thing that I'm involved in, I do have a handle on Instagram, Jeff Lozano. Ballast Point does a good job of just kind of like, I'm pretty involved with that. So they post stuff, and if I'm doing some sort of news spot or podcast or something like that, they do a good job of trying to spread that information.
Hyping it up.
But for the most part, you can pretty much just find everything that I'm doing on Instagram. I don't do Facebook all that much.
No.
I don't really do LinkedIn.
Just to talk to my mom.
TikTok?
Facebook.
No TikTok.
No TikTok.
I don't even mess with that, dude.
No, take it to the top.
Instagram, and then
YouTube
dedicated
Shorts.
to the craft. Although we are taking a hiatus, I don't know if that's going to be a permanent hiatus or if that's going to be just a short-lived one. You can find my podcast dedicated to the craft. I do love the interviews and the conversations that I've had thus far, so they're worth kind of going into the archives and checking them out. I think we've had some pretty cool guests, and again, I've brought on a lot of local breweries and local talent, so giving them a platform to be able to tell their stories is all I care about, honestly. Like, I just want them to have a place where they can talk about why they do certain things and why they started what they started, and that's enough for me. And so you can find us there, and I have some new stuff coming down the pipeline, so pay attention.
I think
Okay.
once you're back, are we gonna come on your podcast?
Yes.
Is my question.
Oh, 1,000%.
Let's get it. Okay. Well, Jeff, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Yes.
Let's do this again.
Danny, you gonna come on here? You gonna say bye?
Bro, didn't you already come?
Dude,
You
what
came
are you
back
doing
and
over
you
there?
what are you doing?
Dude. Yeah, because the
Dude,
battery
what if I was
dead.
doing a sick ass kickflip?
Dude, yeah. Where would you be at right there? This guy. Anyways, guys, thank you so much.
Last
And
sentence.
Jeff, I appreciate you. That was
Appreciate
super
you
fun.
guys,
You're
man.
never not going to be on the show. So
Thanks,
anytime you
Jeff.
wanna come
Dude,
back
let's
on.
do it again. This is the coolest hang, dude. So let's do it again. All right, man.
Peace.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Jeff. That was an amazing conversation, and man, that was a lot of fun with Jeff and Danny. Man, good times, guys. Join me in saying thank you to Jeff again one more time. Jeff, can't wait to have you back on the show, brother. And guys, that's it. I also want to say, last but not least, thank you to all of you around the world who continue to support Caffeine and Green week in and week out, whether you coming through the shop or you listen to the podcast or watching on YouTube. That's right. Watch it on YouTube now. We got visuals, baby. You know what it is. Caffeine and Green is what it is. And guys, stay tuned. We have amazing guests coming up. And now with the visuals, we're putting in that extra effort. So guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.